Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in together, we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave the troubles behind. This podcast is gold, the treasure you'll find. With every word, we'll light up your day. Join the conversation, let's laugh all the way. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave your troubles behind. This podcast is gold, a treasure you'll find.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And thank you for joining us today. I hope you're all having a great day today. It is great to see you all again this morning. Everybody survived the storms, I'm hoping and praying. I did. It went around me, I guess. I didn't get hit. Thank the Lord. I see SRB did. She was good. From everything I can see, everybody that I thought was under having a problem did. I know Arkansas got hit with some stuff last night too, so I hope they're okay. So I'm grateful that everybody's okay thus far. Some people got snow, which is insane to me. No snow here. We didn't even get any rain. It was weird. It went completely around me. I was expecting at least to get some rain, but that didn't happen. Show. It's all good. Good stuff. Yes. Who do we have in here with us thus far this morning? 17 peeps in the house with 15 likes. You guys are rocking and rolling. Lisa Joe, good to see you. It's been a minute. Great to have you here. Lisa got snow. RSR, BB, good to see you. I'm glad you're okay. A hoe named Ida. Welcome, Miss Ida. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, SRB. Let's see who else we got in here. Rowena is in the house. Mr. Eddie, what's happening, One Maiden Night? Good to see you back, Edward. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back, Miss Taylor. Or Tater. T2014 is in the house. Good to see you today. Miss Lacey Pear, True Crime in the house. Welcome back to you. Leslie and Billy, number one. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I hope Billy's doing good. Let him know he's still in my thoughts and prayers, as he is for all of us, and I hope things are getting better. Miss Trish Crow, good to see you this morning. Again, guys, come on in here, please, and hit that like button if you will. Share this out. Let everybody know what we be doing in here today. Moonlit Baby, welcome back. Great to see you. Aurora, hello and welcome. Good to see you today. Well, I'm glad you stopped in to say hi, Moonlit. It's great to see you today. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good start to your day. Wonderful to see Miss Trish Crow. Aurora, I like saying your name. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Grab a cup of Joe. And let's do this thing today. Miss Stormy's in the house. I'm awake. Did I wake you up, Stormy? She's like, I'm here. I'm awake. I made it. Mikey's in the house with the last 24. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us today. Oh, wait. Was he? Is he? I thought I saw him. Maybe I did. I'm seeing things now. Maybe not. Okay. Miss JC Ann's in the house. Good to see you this morning, JC. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you here. As it is for all of y'all's. Great to see you guys today. Thank you guys for leaving I wanted to say thank you for the comments that have been being left in the comment section. We love that. Guys, I also have Mama Bear's link pinned at the top of the chat, so make sure she will be joining us here shortly. She had an appointment to attend to, and then she'll be here right there afterwards. So make sure you hit the like button on her side, subscribe if you have not, and please hit the notification bell. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are. I hope it's good for you because it's great to be here with you. I appreciate you all so very much. Miss Cassie's in the house. Hello, sassy one. Good to see you this morning. It is Thursday, April 3rd already. Yes, the week is almost over. It's I'm through with it Thursday because Friday's tomorrow. All you hard workers out there, one more day till the weekend. You can do this. It's good to see SRB. Like I said, I know she had that storm in her path. I got avoided, thank the Lord. Anybody else in here that had the storm, I'm glad you're okay. I hope you're okay. Come on in, everybody. 28 peeps in the house with 20 likes. That's awesome. Let's see what is going on in the world around us today and keep up with some of our updates and other things. And let's just see what is up with each other. Friday can't come quick enough. There you go. See? Through with it Thursday, and Friday is tomorrow. And you can have that weekend all to yourself, T. You can have it all to yourself. Yes, we were all kind of on the phone last night checking on each other to make sure everybody was good before we all went to bed. So last I knew, SRB was heading to bed and she was okay. I seen that, Stormy. We're going to talk about that today. I did see that. We are definitely going to bring that up. Rafael Timoteo. Did I say that right? Rafael Timoteo. Welcome. Wonderful to have you here. I love seeing the new faces in here. It's wonderful, guys. We are still continuously growing day after day. We gain somebody, at least 1 to 2 people a day, and that's amazing. That is amazing to me. So thank you all for that and helping to grow this amazing community. Welcome to my blue crew. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Appreciate you so much. Because we all know that I would not, could not, or should not ever do this without them, because I can't do it. And again, I want everybody to keep Miss Wisdom in our thoughts and prayers. She's still not back yet, but she's getting better every day. Just keep her in your thoughts and prayers to get her healthy, guys, because we do miss her. That's a fact. Wake yourself up, Stormy. Take a shower and some coffee, you know. There's our Mikey in the last 24. Thank you, SRB. Thank you. Come on. It's supposed to be 70 degrees today. Oof, 70 degrees. Usually when it gets like that, my wife is going to say, hey, we should pull the grill out. I didn't, but we can check it out today, Miss Cass. That's for sure. I heard about it. Mama Bear sent me a picture of one that she caught near her. She had one touchdown just a couple miles away from her. I was a little worried about that. Something happened in Akron, but I can't remember what. Did you see about the track meet? Yeah, I did not. These are things that you guys are telling me, but we will look into them. Just wait. What am I waiting for, Mikey? What is it? What is it? Tell me. Tell me true. Is it a biggin? I guess I'll pull it up. We'll be seeing it here in a minute. Show enough, show enough. What is this? What is this? What do we have here? What the hell? Holy shnikes! Good Lord, have mercy. Y'all. That is a damn monster. Holy shit. That's got an EF5. Got to be an EF5. Wow, that's a big one. I'll be showing you here in a minute. Good morning, Klein. Missing Black People. The Forgotten's in the house. Great to have you here, Klein. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you very much. I hope you're having a good day, brother. It's great to see you. Great to have you here. Some of our recent long-lost friends were digging through house rubble. Damn. In the house. That's right. That's right. Klein is in the house. We just had 9 confirmed EF0, EF1 tornadoes on Sunday. Good Lord, Trish. Thank God you're safe. Yeah, Ryan Hall's probably been busier than hell for the past couple days. We're not even fully into the season yet, and here we are already. Typically May, around here at least, this is when it starts to get hot with that stuff. And yeah, we're already under the warnings and the messes and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be checking some of that out as well, showing everybody all around what happened. Thank you, SRB guys. Please check out that link right there for the Missing Black People, the Forgotten. Go on over, subscribe, notification bell, and please hit the like button and check out what Klein's doing over there, helping in so many ways to find the missing. Please and thank you. I promise you will definitely be impressed. I'll tell you that. Sorry. Brandy B, ROG in the house. Good to see you, Brandy. I hope you're okay. I know Arkansas was in that path last night. It's good to see you here. So now we know you're okay, at least enough to be able to be here. Yep. Thank the Lord our Brandy's here. She survived it. Yep. Y'all, check this out. Look at this. Hang on.
All right. It makes me nervous when the speed pauses like that.
Just cross the road right there.
And look, you can see how the street signs as they start to, gosh, just cross the road. How fast is this tornado moving? What?
50 miles per hour.
50 miles an hour?
40. Wow.
This is a monster. And look at the horizontal
Look at that thing.
rain, the wind, all the rotation inside this cell.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
It makes me nervous when the speed pauses like that.
Just cross the road right there.
And look, you can see how the street signs as they start to, gosh, just cross the road. How fast is this tornado moving? What?
50 miles per hour.
50 miles an hour?
40. Wow.
That is insane, y'all. That is insane. And they were right on top of that. It was coming at them. That's see? Gotta be careful out there. That's right. Thank God for the power of the internet. That is a fact. Welcome, everybody. 31 peeps in the house today. I do appreciate you all. We got 24 likes. We are getting there. Thank you guys so much for that. You're all rock stars. Jesus, you already. There was also another shooting at a Walmart in New Mexico. Pure insanity. Let me show you guys some other stuff here. Weather stuff. Hang on. I think I would rather have a hurricane myself, SRB. I'm with you on that one. At least you know when it's coming and that, you know, it's going to come, do its thing, and leave. I'm not saying any of these storms are good, but as compared to our tornadoes, I'd rather deal with their hurricanes. I'll tell you that much. I don't know, Mike. These tornadoes do some serious ass damage, and there's no preparation for them in some senses. Excuse me. You know what I mean? Hurricanes, they know sometimes a week beforehand. These tornadoes sometimes come through within like minutes, and you don't even know sometimes they're coming. Thank you, Stormy. And yes, guys, please leave a little DNA on that like button when you come through that door. Which link are you talking about, Aurora? Yeah, they can. They change paths very quickly without even, you could blink and it's moved already. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. All right, let's see what we're seeing here this morning.
All right, good morning, everybody. We're hitting the ground running, so let's get right to it. Breaking overnight,
Look at that
multiple
monster.
suspected tornadoes ripping through the Midwest, also the South. This deadly system, by the way, it's on the move right now. The strong winds being blamed for bringing down the walls at this warehouse. Just take a look at some of these images. This video is wild. That trapped at least 3 people inside the building. Forecasters are warning that this storm system could be a once-in-a-generation event. It won't be done for days. Thanks for waking up early with us, everybody. I'm Marky Martin. We have live team coverage of this damage and this event. Let's start off with Nick Smith. Nick, good morning to you. What are we learning about the scope of these severe storms at this hour?
Marky, good morning. What we're learning is that there does not appear to be a break in sight. Violent storms are set to linger across the Midwest for days. At least one person was killed as tornadoes tore through southeast Missouri, ripping the roofs off of buildings and toppling trees and power lines. Hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses waking up this morning without power. Take a look at some of the tornadoes that touched down in Arkansas Wednesday. State officials say at least 4 people were hurt, and damage is reported across 22 counties from each of these storms. Now, which also brought hail and severe wind and flash flooding. At least one person in Indiana was hospitalized when a tornado barreled through this warehouse. At least 3 people were inside at the time, with fire departments from across the region searching through the rubble for survivors. Destruction from Oklahoma to Tennessee, Indiana to Mississippi. Marky, folks across that entire area are bracing for the threats of flash flooding through the weekend. No relief in sight.
Yeah, we know that storm aftermath is just agonizing, and it's still ongoing this morning. Nick, thanks so much. Meteorologist Max Paris is tracking this band of storms live from the Weather Center for us. Max, these areas are going to be hit hard for days. How long are we talking?
This system is going to stall out, turning into a big flood threat, and that's going to last well into the weekend. We can already see ongoing severe thunderstorm and tornado watches with an active tornado warning just outside of Nashville. No confirmations of touchdowns with that one, but there's been at least 20 twisters reported across 4 states in the Midwest. That next part of the storm system generating over North Texas, bringing a severe thunderstorm risk with large hail and damaging winds potentially embedded in that. So that next part of the low pressure system is going to move right along this stationary boundary, and that boundary is just the activity area that we can expect here in the coming days, bringing rounds of heavy rain. We're going to see a renewed tornado risk, unfortunately, for Arkansas, which was hard hit yesterday. Not as big of a tornado threat, but still something we want to keep in mind here as we get through the rest of the day. Heavy rain pushing through the Mid-South as we continue to see these waves of showers and storms move by. It's not going to be consistently raining. You'll get breaks here and there, but still going to be calling for waves of rain. Here we are even into this upcoming Saturday. Very heavy rainfall expected across the mid-Mississippi River Valley, and that's going to pose a significant flood threat. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Flash flood warnings in parts of Tennessee right now and parts of Kentucky. We have a particularly dangerous situation, flood watch, where the worst of this is going to happen into Arkansas. Even farther north into western Kentucky, you had that deadly round of flooding 6 weeks ago. Ground can't handle more water, but more is certainly on the way. So we have that flood watch from Ohio all the way to Texarkana. So make sure to stay alert here. With the highest possible flood risk in effect, a rare high risk only comes a couple times a year, and definitely worth taking note and knowing where that escape route is if you do have to seek shelter or get out of that flooded area. 12 to 15 inches of rainfall. That could be historic amounts, Marky, as we look at areas like Paducah down towards Memphis and towards Little Rock. So again, same areas that were hit yesterday are going to continue to see that damaging threat with these storms well into the weekend, unfortunately.
Praying for everybody in the path of this system. Got to stay weather aware. Max, thank you. We'll check back in here in just a little bit.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
All right, so that was there. Hold on here a second. Show you guys a little more here. Hold on.
Portions of the U.S. as several states today face risk of flooding. Live look right now at the radar, and you can see all the flood risk. That's that swath of green right there. Millions of Americans in the bullseye travel through that area. If you're flying, it could be very slow going for you. Yesterday, more than 2,300 flights were delayed. It was nasty for cancellations, 450 at least. And those storms sparked rare tornado outbreaks all afternoon, impacting the Mississippi River Valley, damaging homes in Arkansas, Tennessee, and Missouri. That's what this video was taken right there. Now, some more video. This is from Pilot Grove, Missouri, about 100 miles or so east of.
Let me show you guys something. This was right down the street from Mama Bear. Last night, 10, 11 o'clock last night. Hold on here. I will find it somewhere here. Oh, I know where it is. I was in the wrong spot. Give me 1 second here. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Look at this. See if I can make it any bigger. Look at that. She took that picture from her backyard, you guys, from my understanding. I believe. If I'm wrong, so correct it. But still, this was the west side of Indianapolis, guys. In Indiana. I mean, this is crazy, folks. You know what I mean? This is no joke. So again, hope everybody is being safe. I hope everybody's careful and being vigilant, guys, because it's that time of year again. I know, for real, Klein. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Of Kansas City. It shows just some of the damage from one of the homes there after the tornado came through that community. Let's look right now. Quick check on the power outages. Updating these numbers for you. Michigan leading the way with more than 117.
Okay, SRB said Mom Bear pulled it from Facebook, but it was still close to her. Very true. I misunderstood it then. I thought she was like taking a picture from something she had taken and sent it. But again, my apologies. It was very close to her, and she had one touchdown. She told me literally like 1.5 miles to 2 miles away from her house in town. I mean, it was right there. So, and here we see up in Michigan, 117,000, Indiana, 91,000, here in Ohio, 53,000, Kentucky, 31,000. All these people out of power because of these storms. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
1,000 people without power. Indiana, 91,000 customers in the dark. You also have Ohio, Kentucky, and Arkansas with tens of thousands of people without power still this morning. We'll have more severe weather coverage coming up at the top of the next hour. For now, though, here's a look at America's news and weather where you live this morning.
Moving right into the east tonight from Florida up to the Carolinas and right up the East Coast. Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. 60 million Americans on alert right now. The system already deadly. Hundreds of flights canceled. Nearly 500,000 people in the dark at this hour. Tonight, heavy rain and damaging winds possible right up the I-95 corridor. after deadly tornadoes and thunderstorms in multiple states. At least 6 reported tornadoes touching down from Louisiana all the way up to Michigan, this one near Fisher, Arkansas. Dangerous ice storms in Michigan bringing down trees and power lines. The governor there declaring a state of emergency tonight. Severe storms near Kalamazoo damaging homes and businesses. 3 children were killed when a tree fell on the family car. Tonight, this storm pushing right into the east. Ginger Z is standing by live with the track, and ABC's Trevor Rolt with the images coming in already.
Tonight, as millions in the east brace for severe weather, the storms are already deadly. At least 5 people killed, hundreds of thousands without power after a severe weather outbreak in multiple states.
Strong, damaging wind gusts and an isolated spin-up tornado is not out of the question.
That massive system triggering a state of emergency in Michigan after an ice storm wiped out electricity.
All night long, it sounded like gunshots and branches breaking, trees falling.
Destructive winds ripping off roofs in Jackson. 3 young children killed in Kalamazoo.
The family's vehicle was struck by a tree as they were traveling down the road. There's really nothing anybody could have done.
2 more storm-related deaths reported in Indiana. In Dothan, Alabama, 5 students injured after a possible tornado hit their school.
I saw the library doors fling open and a bunch of wind and debris started flying through the hall.
Beautiful tornado, dude.
And in Tennessee, our Victor Okendo on the scene of a massive cleanup.
We're just north of Nashville in Springfield, Tennessee. Down trees all over this property, some of them crushing these cars behind me. And if you look up at the roof, a tree crashed right through it.
And in Livonia, Louisiana, east of Baton Rouge, lightning striking multiple oil tanks, sparking this inferno.
And David, the Northeast now braces for a stormy night ahead. There's already been hundreds of flight cancellations, with travel impacts continuing through tomorrow, David.
Could be a difficult night ahead. Trevor, thank you. For more on that, let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z. She's with us live tonight to take us right through it. Hi, Ginger.
Hey there, David. So we're here at the very top end of one of those thunderstorms, getting some of the sprinkles, but I've seen along the line back in eastern Pennsylvania, even a tornado warning already near Reading earlier. I want to take you to the maps, though, because a severe thunderstorm warning includes Raleigh down to Charleston. That means it's happening. Damaging wind is the main threat there. That same front's going to push this line right to the northeast. That includes Baltimore, Philadelphia, and up to Boston into the overnight hours. After tomorrow morning, we're done with this one, but our eyes are already on Tuesday night to Wednesday, where the biggest tornado threat really sits around Memphis, Little Rock, right into southern Illinois, western Kentucky. But there's the problem, is this front's going to then stall out and stick around. And so we're going to end up with considerable rain, 6 to 12 inches, David. We could see some flash flooding right there in that middle pocket of the country.
We know spring always brings severe storms. Ginger Z starting out the week with us. Ginger, thank you.
All right. Let's see. I think, oh yeah, we have some really, there's some bad damage that got done last night, guys. Really bad.
We're going to begin with the severe weather and a lot of communities reeling from the devastating impact this morning. Here's a look at the footage from Selmer, Tennessee after a tornado, one of dozens spawned by the storms. Homes destroyed, debris in the streets, and workers, they are still combing through it at this hour. There's another tornado in Lake City, Arkansas, also destroyed the homes, the cars, and the trees too. At least 15 people were hurt there. This is a massive system spread across the Midwest and the South, and so far, we have confirmed at least 3 people have been killed. Wow. Omar Villafranca is in Lake City, Arkansas, to bring us up to date with the latest. Omar, what can you tell us? Good morning to you.
Well, good morning. We are right on the outskirts of.
Well, this would explain why Arkansas is under a state of emergency now at this point. You can see how bad this was. Welcome back, Seth.
Lake City, Arkansas, and this corner of town just got hammered. Let me step out of the way so you can see some of the damage. This home behind me, the roof was ripped off. The walls are gone, and that car there took some serious damage, busted windows. But you look over here, is a different type of damage to this house. It was almost smashed down. Well, last night, storms were raking across Arkansas and Tennessee. In fact, at about 1:30 in the morning in Memphis, Tennessee, there was a tornado siren going off in downtown. And now folks are waking up to see all of the damage. Dozens of tornado warnings issued overnight. This deadly one devastated Selmer, Tennessee. At 2:30 a.m. local time, The National Weather Service in Memphis had issued a warning of an incredibly dangerous situation heading there, telling residents to remain vigilant.
And you know what? That's what I was petrified about last night, because at some point, Molly and Cassie and SRB and Alicia's up in Michigan, so I hope she's okay with those ice storms and stuff. But we're saying it went past SRB. She's west of me in same state, and that it could be coming my direction. And the ones that hit in the middle of the night like this are scary as hell, because you're sleeping, okay? And you don't know until you hear that train basically coming in front of your house. It's too late sometimes, because I live out in a very rural area, and I don't get those sirens. I don't hear those. They're mostly in the city. We do hear them eventually, but by the time we hear them, it's in your face. So anybody, you know, when these overnight things happen, this is scary as hell. It really is, because you just don't know. And like it was said earlier, these things can change directions within seconds. Literally, it's like a top spinning. And you know, when a top hits something, it bounces off and goes another direction. That's how these things work. If you get this, if you live in a valley, which I do, and it gets down in that valley and it starts pinging around inside there, yours, forget it. And like I said, if it's middle of the night, nobody's watching the news or listening, you know, typically. And yeah, it's very scary. So that's what these people had to go through. And this is horrifying to me. Very horrifying.
At least 2 tornadoes were reported to have hit here in what has been a night of non-stop severe weather.
It's right there. I've never seen anything like it. Oh my goodness.
As this massive twister tore through parts of northeastern Arkansas, it prompted the National Weather Service to issue a tornado emergency just after 6:30 p.m. for Lake City. The violent storm turned homes and businesses into rubble, its residents overnight combing through the destruction left behind. The Craighead County Sheriff's Department says at least 15 people were injured. Several homes were flattened and cars tossed and flipped over, eventually landing on piles of debris. The severe weather stretched for more than 800 miles from Oklahoma to Indiana. Powerful winds stripped the side of a building down to its insulation on the outskirts of Indianapolis. And 2 hours to the north, the severe winds toppled 3 tractor trailers on a highway.
It was just kind of like a roar and then a loud noise.
Just north of Tulsa, Oklahoma, a confirmed tornado ripped through Owasso. No house on this block was left unscathed. Some even collapsed.
My parents have lived here in this house for 40 years, and my mom keeps saying nothing like this has ever happened.
There is more stormy weather.
There's always the first time for everything. Many people have been under warnings and watches for years and never had nothing happen. Never say never, folks, is all I'm saying. It definitely can happen. They say, let's move to the Midwest. It will be fun. Yeah, well. Sorry, eyebrows. I've seen them too, chick. I've seen them too. That creek is full. See? I told you, Brandy. I told you. Hence the reason why we were talking about that day. I knew it. As soon as you get a good rainfall, that turns into a river. Okay? It's a ditch, but it turns into a river. And that's dangerous. So you know what you got to do with that. So, yeah. This is some scary stuff.
Ahead, but this time the concern is heavy rain, which could bring what the National Weather Service has called generational flooding, the possibility of it to this area. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Nate?
Generational flooding sounds devastating. Omar, thank you.
And that said earlier that this is a once in a generation storm front. It's not coming down anytime soon. Okay. Hold on a minute here. And we went through this stuff last year with the hurricanes, you know, never before seen storms and so on and so forth. What's happening, Saj? Upstate New York in the house. It is brutal. It is brutal. It'll help your business out, my friend. But you know, I don't know if it hit you guys up there or not, Sarge, but good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us this morning. Be putting on roofs left and right if it's up in your area, that's for sure. You guys are safe. Good to hear. I'm glad you're okay, Sarge. That's important. That is important. Very much so. All right, y'all. Let me see here. All right. Hold on. Von moment. Von moment. Uno momento. Von momento. Let's see here. Von moment. Now I know I saw this somewhere. One of you guys, I think Stormy dropped it to me. Hold on. Where did it go? All right. Let's see. 1 minute. Just a second, everyone. Yes, yes, yes.
We do have an.
All right, we're going to start off, besides the weather, with this here first. It's pretty wild situation. And I'm definitely interested to figure out what's going on with it.
An update on our breaking news that we showed you off the top of the show. Human remains found in Brigham City today.
That's right. Police are investigating this as a homicide. David Ochoa joins us live with the very latest. You just got there. What do you know at this point?
Well, all we know right now is that a construction crew earlier this afternoon found a black bag full of hair and bones. And when police came and investigated it, they did confirm it was human remains. We just got here in the area now, and you can see there still is an active investigation going on. A lot of police going through this area here, and then over into this higher grass over here, there is a dog that is going through there. So they're still doing more searching. But other than that, we don't have much more information. But police are having a press conference in just a few minutes at 6:30. So when we get that information, we'll have more. We'll also be streaming that press conference on KUTV and on the app. So if you'd like to see that, just stay here with KUTV. But we're just waiting to get a little bit more information. And once we have that, we'll bring that to you. But for now, reporting live from Brigham City, David Ochoa, KUTV 2 News.
These things are just becoming regular.
There is no doubt in my mind.
Regular things now, you guys. And it's like, what the hell is going on? You know? Hold on a minute here. Brigham City, Utah, Rowena. Let me see here. Hold on.
An investigation.
This is saying it's a little bit newer.
Continues tonight in Brigham City, where local police tell us that construction crews found a black trash bag in the dirt behind me here that was filled with human remains. Neighbors tell us they've memorized this stretch of road.
It's the first time that road has been closed, so we had to go as a detour. I had a doctor's appointment today, so I had a detour around.
But Joey Sandoval was never prepared to learn what awaited him off West Highway 13 when he returned home Wednesday.
It's actually shocking. It's really shocking to know that there's a dead body across the street that's probably been there for years.
Sandoval says dozens of cop cars lined up across the street from his front yard, where those Pacific Union workers who prompted the road closure made a grisly discovery. Brigham City police say hair and bones were in the trash bag, badly decomposing over a period of months or years. Chief Chad Reyes says they are investigating this as a homicide and working with county and state leaders to help bring closure as soon as possible.
This is extremely sad and unusual case. I mean, we absolutely, as I mentioned, want to ensure that we conduct a very thorough investigation and we do get justice for this victim.
We aren't expecting to hear any updates in this case until tomorrow when the autopsy is conducted at the Utah State Medical Examiner's office. But if you have any information, they urge the public to reach out to the Box Elder Communications Center. In Brigham City, I'm Jeremy Toms.
Okay, and if you heard that name, good morning, Miss Denise. Thank you for joining us. Box Elder. If anybody's familiar with that name, you should be. If you've been in true crime for a while, the same area we were looking for Dylan Rounds in past few years back. And yeah, it makes me wonder what's going on over in Box Elder. You know what I'm saying?
We do have a very cracked.
I have the press conference for this. Thank you to Miss Stormy, as always, being very vigilant with this stuff. Appreciate it very much. Yeah. I was gonna say, if you didn't catch it, SRB, you know we were over there years ago looking for Dylan Round, Box Elder. It's a wild area. I'll tell you that much, folks. There's some stuff that goes down. We found out as we were covering his case, and here we are again. I'm curious. It's definitely a homicide because nobody's going to put themselves in a garbage bag, okay? And it's been there for a minute. If it's bones and hair, that'll tell you how long it's been there. So this is the press conference, guys. Let's check out and see what they have to say. It's not very long at all, so.
Investigative team, and I'm confident that they're going to do their job.
Do you know how much longer you're going to be at the scene tonight?
We probably won't be at the scene much longer tonight. We are pretty confident that we've thoroughly cased the area and searched the area, and so I believe we'll be releasing the scene tonight. The scene is fairly well contained to the area that we've got roped off over there, so we probably won't be out here much longer.
Oh, yeah, I agree, Stormy. There's a few of us in here that were pretty heavy on that case with Dylan, Mikey, and SRB, Mama Bear, Molly. A lot of us were following his case pretty close, supporting Candace and her Dylan's dad, and just so a lot of us knew about it. But that whole area, we were covering a lot of different things that went on as well, because we were looking into what we were looking into. We were seeing other things that were going down, other things they were finding out, so on and so forth. So you learn about the areas that you're covering. It was a rough one. That one was, and thank God that they got some closure to an extent on that. Candace is one hell of a strong woman. Both the parents are amazing for what they went through with that, and God bless Dylan, of course. Groot is in the house. Good morning. Thank you, SRB, for that. If you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel here, please do so and hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss anything we do here. We love you guys for being here and appreciate you so very much. So yes, welcome, Irene Clobber. Did they find Dylan's remains? I'm not 100% sure. Something went down not too long ago on it. I was covering something else and I didn't catch all the info. I'll have to look into that for you, Irene. I will definitely. Thank you, SRB, again.
I'm sorry.
Stormy says they did. Okay, they did. Okay, good. I know that they had what's his name in custody over this, and I thought they did, but I didn't want to say yes because I didn't know for sure and be wrong. So yeah, got me stumped in the house. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
where the remains were found.
Yeah, so the telephone pole or the utility pole right there, just kind of to the, I'm pointing to the north, and just to the west of that is where that area is. And there will be crime scene tape there that you guys can get footage of if you need to.
So potentially, possibly, these remains could have been offloaded from a train, like right now that we're seeing. Were they close enough?
Yeah, I think, I mean, anything is possible. A train is probably less likely than a vehicle.
And just to be sure I understood correctly, they were not buried. They were on the surface.
They were on the surface, yes.
We see the railroad is moving again. Has that been closed all day?
The railroad has not been closed. They just closed the road to do some maintenance on the rail.
And can you just kind of speak to your efforts to find justice? This is someone's loved one. It's a family member, and to have an end like this has got to be difficult for a family in coming days or weeks.
Yeah, this is extremely sad and unusual case. I mean, we absolutely, as I mentioned, want to
exactly
ensure that we conduct a very thorough investigation and we do get justice for this victim. Any other questions?
When might we expect an update?
We might put out another press release tomorrow afternoon, depending on what the autopsy reveals for us.
Our producers, assignment desk, need more information. What's the best way to contact you guys?
So our public information officer is Detective Crystal Beck, and I think all of your contacts have her information. They can reach back out to her.
Are you guys Twitter, Facebook? Is that your motive?
Facebook, yes.
Chief, are you
Yeah.
going to be at the autopsy tomorrow? Are you guys sending detectives down there?
We will have detectives as well as members of the Weber Metro CSI unit. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. Yeah, sure. It's Chad, Chad Reyes, Reyes.
That was their presser. So hopefully we'll get some information as to who and what this was about. Hopefully. Yes, I'm hoping. Now, next up, we have Aunt Nancy put something out 12 hours ago. I don't know if you guys followed the Miranda Corset situation. Kind of an interesting situation here. For those of you that don't, you'll figure this out here real quick. For those of you that do, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Stormy.
News tonight. A little girl, just 16, just turned 16, Miranda Corset, goes missing. Now we learn that she was lured online by a predator much older than her, 37 years old. This little girl, we now believe, was tortured for days, murdered in the worst way, and dismembered. At this hour, we have obtained video of the defendant and his henchperson, according to police, carrying the little girl out to the car trunk, putting her body wrapped in what appears to be blankets into the trunk. Then we see the co-defendant, a female, loading the car as if they're going on a picnic with the child's body in the trunk and driving away. Here you see in late-breaking video the suspect, 37-year-old Stephen Gress, carrying what we believe to be the body wrapped in material of just turned 16.
These people are insane. This isn't a trigger warning for sure. Thank you, Stormy. Hold on a minute, you guys.
Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
This is in a residential neighborhood, and it's not really that dark. I mean, these people don't care anymore. It's just whatever, whenever. It's insane to me. Absolutely insane. Blows my damn mind. Miranda Corset. Taylor, sorry. Thank you, Stormy, for that. Yeah, this is insane to me.
16-year-old Miranda Corsett, hiding it in his trunk and get everything just right away. Here you see in late-breaking video the suspect, 37-year-old Stephen Gress, carrying what we believe to be the body wrapped in material of just turned 16-year-old Miranda Corsett, hiding it in his trunk and get everything just right, slamming the trunk, then very casually, and this is in his front yard, the arrogance of this man.
And as much as Nancy gets on my nerves, I got to agree with her. Like, this is absolute ignorant. I mean, they don't care. Like, it's no big damn deal. Just walk right out in front of the whole world and let's, you know, it's unbelievable to me. Arrogance is a good word. The cockiness, the arrogance. And thank God, like SRB just said, thank God for stupid criminals. These people are so stupid. Thank the Lord.
Slamming the trunk, all done, and walking back in. We believe inside, waiting for him, co-defendant, 35-year-old Michelle Brandis, Beelzebub to his Satan. All of this just allegations. The two are presumed innocent until proven guilty. But I guarantee you, at this hour, cadaver dogs are crawling up the tailpipe of that car. And when they get a hit, this will be
These two are
confirmed.
something else.
Joining
I'll
me
tell you
an
that
all-star
much.
panel to make sense of what we know right now. At the scene, Robert Crispin joining us. Crispin, private investigator, founder of Crispin Special Investigations, former federal task force officer for the U.S. Department of Justice, DEA Miami Field Division, former homicide and crimes against children investigator, now leading Crispin Special Investigations. It is through his legwork that we've obtained these videos. Crispin, start from the beginning. What happened?
So, Nancy, all of this captured on a Ring camera at the house behind me. Suspects lived right there on the bottom floor. Upstairs is another apartment, duplex. That Ring camera up there in that middle window has captured all these images. It has the images of Miranda's last days running around in the front yard before she was kidnapped and brutally murdered. The video also catches what we believe to be Stephen carrying Miranda's lifeless body and putting it in the trunk of his car, followed up by his girlfriend, Michelle, and him getting in the car and just driving away as if they're going on a trip.
I want to know why. That's the question I have with this situation right now is why. I want to know why. Why this child? And these people disgust me anymore. I mean, I just can't even.
The callous nature, let me say nonchalant nature with which he carries the child's body to the car. He's so arrogant. He's not afraid of being spotted, nothing. And then the two of them, like they're going on a picnic, I swear.
Yeah, so we learned through police, we learned through the investigation that they left here and they took the child in the trunk to Michelle's mother house in Largo, Florida, where she was removed from the trunk and taken inside and dismembered before she was put in a trash bag and thrown away like garbage in a dumpster.
Grandma better start talking or she's going to be a co-defendant in a murder one case. Joining me an all-star panel in addition to Robert Crispin. Robert, how did you obtain the video?
Very cooperative neighbors have been emotionally touched and mentally destroyed over what has happened to this little girl. And it has impacted so many people in this neighborhood, including the lady who lives right upstairs, who was scared to death of the guy who lived downstairs, Stephen Grassi.
You know what's so amazing to me, in addition to the video you have obtained, Robert Crispin, is that another female neighbor had to move away because the defendant, Stephen Gress, kept approaching her, texting her, soliciting her for all sorts of sex acts. She went to a judge and tried to get a restraining order. The judge refused, even after she showed the text in court. And this guy was still there, according to police, to lure this 16-year-old girl online and lure her to her death. Isn't it true? Susan Hendricks joining me, investigative journalist, author of Down the Hill, My Descent into the Double Murder in Delphi, that a fake argument broke out between the little girl and the live-in, Michelle Brandis, now murder co-defendant, over a missing ring. And the little girl was, I didn't take your ring. I'll look for it. I'll help you find it. But instead, these two demons from hell started beating the little girl, tied her to a chair, and it culminated in what, Susan Hendricks?
Authorities believe it started on the 20th, that argument over the ring that they couldn't find, allegedly. From the 20th to the 24th, she was tortured. Who knows what she went through? We do know how she was tortured with that pool ball and suffocated. And they believe, as was mentioned, that she was dismembered at Michelle's mother's house. Then they went to Larkin, which is an hour and 5 minutes away, to dump her in a dump site. So an hour and 5 minutes with a dismembered young girl in their car. Of course, he didn't think there were consequences. His rap sheet is so long. The neighbors were terrified and nothing was done.
You know, Robert Crispin joining me on the scene, the way that Susan Hendricks described that, I want to go back through that. Isn't it true, Robert, that the allegation is that these two adults, aged 35 and 37, have a little girl just turned 16 that I believe has been lured by them? They jam a pool ball, a billiard ball, into her mouth. Can you even imagine getting a pool ball in your mouth and then wrap her head with cellophane? That's how she died, although we're not going to be able to prove it now if she's been dismembered. To Dr. Bethany Marshall and veteran trial lawyer Andrea Lewis is joining us in addition to Crispin. We heard the way Susan Hendricks just described the way this child died. Think about it. The allegation is that a pool ball was taken and crammed into this little girl's mouth. This is after days of torture. Days. Crammed into her mouth, forced in. I don't even know how that's physically possible, but that's the allegation. Then her head and face was wrapped with cellophane. Her last moments were gagging, trying to breathe through her nose, with the cellophane being wrapped around her face, her eyes, her nose, her mouth. That's how this child died, Andrea, according to police.
Nancy, it is utterly sadistic what they did to this poor girl. It is nothing short of torture. And it was clearly something that they took a lot of time with, that they enjoyed, and they got some type of sexual gratification out of doing this. It is hard for a normal person to imagine how one human being could do something like this to another, let alone a child. So those are the people we're dealing with here, and they should rot in prison.
You know, Andrea, it would be a cold day, a blizzard in HELL, that I would take a plea off the female co-defendant. See, a lot of people are going to feel like, oh, maybe she was abused, so forth and so on. She stood by, and I want you to see again that video of her packing up the car like she's going on a picnic. She stood by and let this happen. She trumped up the argument, the fake argument over a missing ring. She was there beating the little girl, according to allegations, watching, if not participating, while this child was sex assaulted over and over for days. She was there when the child was tied up to a chair, a pool ball forced into her mouth, and watched her gag and beg trying to breathe. I wouldn't take a plea on her. No way. She needs to be put in the same pot to stew. I believe this will be a death penalty case and they'll have to be severed. In other words, tried separately. But no way would I let her off, Andrea.
I totally agree with you, Nancy. And here's the thing about this case. The unsung heroes here are the people, the homeowner, the renters who had the wherewithal to install these high definition cameras, because those cameras captured a treasure trove of information for the prosecutors. They have the times when they came and went. They see the young girl coming innocently, walking into this home, having no idea what type of fate she's about to encounter. They see the, as you just pointed out on these videos, the girlfriend lackadaisically walking around, loading up a car as if this is just another day. That's very, very incriminating footage. It's very incriminating evidence, and it should be the linchpin that sends this woman to prison, along with the monster that she committed these crimes with.
Dr. Bethany Marshall, we've encountered this many, many times in the past, jumping off what Andrea Lewis is saying, a partner at Cersei Law Firm in Palm Beach, where women go along with the man. And she's just as much a part of it. It's a phenomenon I don't understand. Maybe you can illuminate it for me.
Well, she's getting as
look
much
at the video, Bethany. She's trotting out to the car with what, her picnic supplies, with the child's body in the trunk.
Nancy, she's getting as much gratification out of this as he is. The MO might be slightly different in that his is probably more sexual sadism, as Andrea mentioned. And as we know, sexual sadism involves wanting to torment, torture, and humiliate the victim for sexual arousal. This is why they put the saran wrap around her face, why they put the billiard ball in her mouth. So his MO is probably that sadism piece. Her MO is probably more a hatred piece, a hatred of women, thinking this little girl needed to get her comeuppance. She probably had an over-attachment to this guy, Steve, to the perpetrator. And I would think, Nancy, in the lead up to this crime, this was a joint sexual.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious, the video. I mean, she got the video from a more reliable source. Hopefully it is what it is. And hopefully this is what puts these two behind bars. As far as I'm concerned, this is a death penalty to me. I don't know, but I'm just saying this is horrific. It's absolutely horrific. Yeah. Florida again, Mike. Sorry. Good to see you, Stacey. Welcome.
Fantasy of theirs that they would find a victim. I'm sure there were other victims.
I want you to look again, Dr. Bethany, at the video. First of all, we have video we've just obtained, breaking now, of the defendant, accused, still innocent in the eyes of the law, 37-year-old Stephen Gress. The victim, Miranda Corsett's grandma, she lives with grandma because both of her parents suddenly died. The perfect target for an online perv. She is lured, and the grandma's actually happy that Miranda has a date on Valentine's Day. Little does she know it's with a 37-year-old man who then murders her, according to police. The video we've obtained shows, we believe, Stephen Gress, age 37, carrying the lifeless body of a teen girl, Miranda Corsett, to the trunk, loading the trunk, standing there making sure everything is in order, tucking in the blankets that she's wrapped in, slamming the trunk, then walking very calmly, nonchalantly back into the home. That's what you're seeing on the video. Then, moments later, we see the defendant, Stephen Gress, age 37, and his hench person, Beelzebub from hell, 35-year-old Michelle Brandis, walking out as if they're going, what, to McDonald's? To KFC? I don't know. Where they're really going, according to police, is to another location, a tertiary crime scene, where they will dismember the child's body. To Sydney Sumner joining us, the callous nature, the nonchalant attitude they have toward this child carries over, Sydney, to where we know.
That's a great question, Stormy. It really is. It's insane. First date. Hey, so do you like killing people? Me too. Cool. Falls in love. 100%. It's what it seems to be. It's what it seems to be.
Now believe her body is. Explain, Sydney Sumner, joining us, Crime Stories investigative reporter.
Nancy, so what we know about what happened to Miranda's body is that it was dumped in a dumpster in Ruskin, Florida. Now, police, St. Petersburg PD, were not actively searching for Miranda's body because they needed to determine where that dumpster went. Did it go to a landfill, or if it went to a waste to energy facility? And that facility burns what
And that makes sense, Micey, because they said it was all incinerated. That's what they're saying right now, Mike. So yeah, I knew what you meant, bro.
comes in and creates steam, which creates electricity. And St. Petersburg PD now believes that is where Miranda's body went after it was in that dumpster. So unfortunately, they believe her body has been burned. So they're going to have to move forward in this case without her body.
No body does not necessarily mean no
Welcome,
case. Joining me is Robert Crispin, founder of Crispin Special Investigations, former federal task force for.
That's why I said in a case like this, in my opinion, death penalty is fitting for this. You can't rehab somebody that does something like this. Prison won't. No. This is like pure insanity, in my opinion. So there's no way to rehab this, in my opinion. So no, not at all. Death penalty, 100%. Oh, a necklace, a damn necklace, right, Mike? Right.
For DOJ, Department of Justice, DEA, Miami Field Division, and specifically for my purposes, former homicide and crimes on children investigator. Robert, also the irony that a neighbor, and we have video of this. Let's roll the video, please, New York Control Room. We have video of a neighbor coming across the street, and she actually hears and sees Miranda inside the home murder scene crying. What happened, Robert?
So that video clearly depicts the neighbor coming up the driveway and going. It's got a little bit of audio to it as well. And it's her talking to Steven, the suspect, and they're speaking, and they even hear the word Miranda spoken by one of the two. And it's not learned until after all this has occurred and that Miranda has been viciously attacked and killed that the neighbor on that day of that video saw Miranda inside that house while she was standing at the front door and looks to the right and sees Miranda huddled into a corner crying like a little child scared to death, and nothing.
This was 7 days before that video of her body being carried out. She could have been saved. This makes me so mad right now. So mad.
Ever was said.
Also, Robert Crispin, you obtained video that we believe shows the last hours before Miranda was murdered, a 16-year-old girl. She has been lured online by a 37-year-old man. She is there at the home. What do we see in
See you
the
soon,
video?
Stacy. I'll
Let's
probably be
roll
live
the
this
video where we
afternoon. If
see
you'd like to join,
Miranda
hope to see you then.
in the front yard, dressed up for a date. What do you see, Crispin?
A child. I see a child just wandering aimlessly around the front lawn of the driveway of the hell house that's about to be her demise. And if I can go one step further, Nancy, this is a great example for parents to monitor their kids' activities, because this is a 16 or 15-year-old child who's on social media meeting men and meeting men for dates who are in their 30s. How many times have we come across this? Parents, watch and monitor your kids' social media activities. It's crucial. This is a great example of
Robert,
why.
I don't know which is more disturbing, the video of him, allegedly, Stephen Gress, carrying the lifeless body of this little girl to the car.
I think it was around the 13th or the 14th, I think. Don't quote me. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Wrapped in some kind of material, or the video of them hopping in.
I know, Eddie. That's really good camera footage, especially, from this camera, especially at night. It's amazing.
To the car with all of their picnic supplies like they're going on a jaunt. Let's take a look at the video Crispin has just obtained of who we believe to be Stephen Gress. And oh yes, this is going to be amplified like it.
Yeah, she lived with her grandmother. Her parents had passed away. And the sad part with this thing is that I guess she had told her grandmother she had a date for Valentine's Day. Her grandmother was happy about that, per se, so on and so forth, having no idea what this girl was walking into. Neither one of them did, sadly. Because you cannot trust anything anymore. Because the predators live online looking for what they can do. Hey, Brian, good to see you, buddy. So, yeah.
It's NASA video of Stephen Gress, we believe, carrying the body of this child. What do you see? What jumps out at you, Robert Crispin, that is probative in this video?
The nonchalant attitude of Stephen carrying what we believe to be the child out to the car as if it's a pile of laundry to take to the laundromat. And he puts it in the back of the car as if it's an everyday event, an everyday activity.
Well, no worries, Aurora. We do from time to time, occasionally. If I get super upset, it's hard sometimes, but normally it's not a regular thing. So no, I just don't think it needs to happen on a regular basis. You can talk to people without doing that. So thank you, and I appreciate that very much.
Activity as if he's never going to get caught. He's walking in public. Look at me. Look at me. You can't catch me. That strikes me.
Well,
as
I guess
very
so, Robert Crispin, after the neighbor tried to get a restraining order against him, and we've got those documents, and a judge turned her down. Yeah, everybody in the neighborhood is afraid of this guy and afraid to do anything about it. So he probably does have a little swagger going on, Crispin.
Of course he does. And sadly enough, Nancy, we've seen a lot of judicial poor decisions. And as much as people are afraid in the neighborhood to not engage their neighbors because of their safety, let's just say you and I probably know a couple of judges that are afraid to sign their name to some documents that they probably should be signing to protect people.
You know what? I don't care. I don't care. I don't give a flying fig. This child is dead, and no one spoke up. The neighbor tried to get a restraining order. The judge turned her down. She had a phone full of inappropriate suggestions, asking the neighbor to perform oral sex, all sorts of things, banging on her door at midnight. The judge turned her down. Miranda is dead. I see a clear nexus. Equally disturbing with taking this child's body out to a trunk is the two of these minions from hell, Crispin. I want to see the video of them going out to the car like they're loading it up for a drive in the country. What do you see that is probative in this video, Robert Crispin?
So nonchalant, just taking things out, putting it in the car, like you said, as if we're going somewhere. They get in the car, they shut the doors, they back out, they drive away. There's no fast movement. There's no jerky movement. There's just something that
the confidence, okay? The confidence that they have within this. After what they did, they put a deceased body in the back of the vehicle, got in the car and left with confidence. Not a worry in the world. That's what is scary to me. This is where we are now, guys, in the world, okay? People have no fear. That's a problem. That's a huge problem, folks. And it just happens every day now. It is beyond disgusting and sad. And there's so many other words that I can think of to use, and it makes me absolute sick They have none. That's it right there. There's no fear of consequence, no worry in the world. Their neighbors are right here, guys. There's cameras. I mean, this is just absolute insanity to me. There's no fear. The confidence. That's what I'm saying. The confidence they have in this is insane. Yeah, it's very bright, Brian. I agree with that. I mean, very bright. The camera footage is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's just I can't get past the confidence levels that these ignorant people have. I can't.
You and I would do if we were doing a normal day going grocery shopping. We just walk to the car, get in, drive away, put our kids in the car, drive home. This is very disturbing video, really disturbing to an investigator and a prosecutor. And thank God for that Ring camera on the second floor that sealed the fate of all these monsters involved in this. That is crystal clear footage.
Well, it's not broad daylight, Brian. I think it's probably like dusk, but because of all the lighting around and everything, it's pretty bright. You know what I mean?
Along with any DNA that they're going to get, any other statements they're going to get, anything that's going to come down the pike.
Yeah, this is 3:53 a.m. I think, 4 in the morning. So
these guys have a big problem coming, and this is a death penalty case, if you ask me.
I agree.
Robert Crispin, here's the problem. There's no body. And a defense attorney's going to make a lot of hay out of that. What we need is DNA. Yes, we have DNA from inside the home. We need DNA from the tertiary crime scene where her body was dismembered. We need tissue.
She's right. They took this from here. They went to another place and they dismembered her, sadly. And then they put her in a dumpster, and that dumpster was dumped in, then it was incinerated, which is why they have no body, sadly. But there's got to be DNA in the trunk. There's got to be DNA at the other scene that they did this at. There's got to be. There absolutely has to be, in my opinion. And I pray to God that they can find it. Thank you, SRB. These two definitely deserve the death penalty, in my opinion. Absolutely.
We need the tool that was used to show this child was dismembered. We have to have more evidence.
Brian.
I know,
and let me tell you how you get that,
they're
Nancy.
caught on video, but I need more to take this case to a trial.
Let me tell you exactly how they get that. And a lot of people probably don't know this, but these landfills and dumps are sectioned off into grids. And
that's what happened is what was it? 17th. Like 6-7 days before this, the neighbor walked across the street, was talking to this person, and saw her in the corner of the house, crying and hiding in a corner. And like Cassie just said, they created a fear in their neighbors. I mean, they were harassing their neighbors. He was sexual innuendos, things like that. And multiple neighbors, from my understanding. And so the neighbors feared, bothering with them, I guess. But if whoever that lady was would have called 911 at that point, this is the problem. This is a problem, guys. This happened near St. Pete. Yes, I'm surprised this has been on our news. I'm an hour from it. See, that's the thing. Mainstream media, another problem. Yeah, Quentin's situation, agreed. I can agree. Right. No, I understand completely. It's a sad thing.
every single one of these trucks that come from a particular area dump their trash in a grid on a specific date. They can go back to the landfill and speak to the people at the landfill, and they can give you a coordinate and a grid inside that landfill of where trash came on that particular day or that particular week. And it goes systematically. I've seen it done before. Okay. I've done it before. So these are probably the things that are going on behind the scenes. But as you drive by a landfill, we all
Can I stop you right there?
Oh my.
Did you hear what Sydney said, Sydney Sumner, and also Susan Hendricks, about the strong possibility that this child's body has actually been incinerated at a waste to energy plant. Now, I'm telling you, Crispin, I've never seen a waste to energy that wasn't covered in video cameras. If they can show these two, and you know these idiots were arrogant and casual and nonchalant pulling into that waste to energy, we may have them. We may not get DNA, but if we can get DNA from the tertiary crime scene where she was dismembered and then video from the waste to energy, we got a case, Crispin.
I agree. If it's taken to the dumpster and not the incinerator, we have a much better chance of recovering Miranda. It's going to take a little bit of work, but it can be done. It's not like it hasn't happened before. A lot of great investigators and homicide investigators have dug through garbage in landfills. If it's there, they'll find it.
If you know or think you know anything about the disappearance of this child, her death or dismemberment, we beg you to call in 727-893-7780. 727-893-7780. We're bringing you the video evidence, but the state needs more.
Absolute insanity. And this poor girl lost her parents, okay, and of course lived with her grandmother. And this has happened to a lot of kids in this age group, because sadly, you know, the rug epidemic that happened is taking a lot of parents from their children, so on and so forth. A lot of grandparents are raising their grandchildren now. So, you know, the grandmother probably doesn't realize, in some senses, the things a lot of older people don't realize what the internet does, because they don't deal with the internet. They don't get it. And here we are. You know, that's the sad thing. It really is sad. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Crazy stuff, guys. Yeah, a lot of the yes. Yep, exactly, Cassie. She lost her child and her grandchild. It's insane. It's very sad. Very sad. Very, very sad. So there's that situation, y'all. I don't know if you guys were familiar with it or not yet, but I kind of wanted to show you the situation. I know it's a bit rough. It is definitely a bit rough, but these things need to be seen and heard for the one and only reason is so that it can stop happening. So people see that these things go on. People know that these things happen. Do you know what I mean? So, oh, Lord, have mercy. Please, please, God. I don't know. I don't even know what to think anymore. All right, moving on. Welcome, Miss Alicia. I'm glad to see you here. Hope everything is okay with you after the ice storms that Michigan got hit with last night.
This North Carolina.
All right, moving on. Another crazy and horrible situation per our amazing world that we live in. Yes, ma'am. Of course. Horse TV, good to see you, Walt. Thank you for joining us. I have not, Horse. Brandy's in here. It says that she's in Arkansas as well, and says that Arkansas is under a state of emergency. Morning, Miss Peaky. Good to see you today. Right. In some senses, Denise, yes, absolutely. All right.
This North Carolina mom is in a lot of trouble. You may remember her. She was arrested on Valentine's Day and charged with 80 sex crime charges. Well, she's back in the spotlight, and not for baking cookies or carpool duty. She's back in the news again, now facing even more charges. I'll walk you through the details. For Law and Crime News, I'm Kennedy Walker. Sarah Jean Sellers was arrested in February on 80 counts of child sex crimes, including statutory rape. Now that number has jumped to 90, with 10 new felony charges just added. Court records show Sellers is now charged with 8 counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor and 2 counts of indecent liberties with a child. According to newly obtained documents, these latest charges stem from January 2021, when Sellers allegedly possessed explicit images of a then young teenage boy, identified only by his initials. In North Carolina, third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor means possessing or distributing illegal images of children. That can include storing them on a phone, computer, or more. Even though it's considered the least severe of the state's child pornography laws, it's still a felony, one that could require sex offender registration if convicted. In Sellers' case, court documents allege that she unlawfully and willfully possessed photos of that victim's private area and more. The documents point out that the minor was born in 2006, which would have made him about 15 years old at the time of the alleged incident. The 80 other charges Sellers was charged with stem from incidents in 2018 through 2021 with several alleged victims. According to WWAY, the state revealed that 2 victims were 12 at the time of the alleged sex crimes, which spanned from 2018 and 2019.
You know what, guys, is blowing my mind is we see almost more female sexual predators going after children nowadays than we do the other side of things, as we were used to seeing men typically being these predators. I've seen more, I swear, female predators nowadays than I've ever seen in my life, whether they're teachers, coaches, cheerleading coaches, just moms, soccer moms, okay, that are becoming these predators. It's absolutely disgustingly insane to me. It's freaking scary. Truly it is. Thank you, SRB. Check out our Mikey's channel, The Last 24. Y'all will not be disappointed. I can promise you that much.
Others whose ages were not specified are interviewing with detectives. Sellers was arrested on Valentine's Day for this, which meant instead of spending the holiday of love with her husband of 20 plus years or even her children, she was booked into the Brunswick County Detention Center. Sellers faces 20 counts of statutory rape of a child under the age of 15, 20 counts of indecent liberties with a child, 10 counts of statutory sex offense with a child by an adult, 20 counts of statutory sex offense with a child under 15, and 10 counts of statutory rape of a child by an adult. When she was first charged, her attorney argued for a $400,000 bond, but the judge appointed a $2 million bond instead. Sellers is currently 44 years old. Her defense attorney stated that she has been married for more than 2 decades and has 2 daughters. It's unclear how Sellers knew the reported victims and how the allegations were brought to police. The Brunswick County Sheriff's Office says anyone who has any other information about Sellers' alleged crimes to come forward, which seems to be happening given Sellers' new criminal charges. And joining me to talk more about this is legal expert Safa Robinson. Safa, thank you so much for coming on. Let's dive right in. How does the addition of 10 more charges affect the severity of Sarah Jean Sellers' case?
Well, Ms. Sellers' case is already pretty severe. The nature of the allegations that she was previously charged with were sexual in nature. These additional charges just add to that. So one of the things that happens, or one of the things that we expect, is that the prosecution is going to use these new charges as leverage to amplify the exposure that Ms. Sellers may have if she's at all convicted. They can use them to force a plea because now we have additional charges, and her exposure may be more significant due to the nature of these charges. And so what it really is about is the prosecutor using these things as leverage, these 10 additional charges as leverage.
I know a question that I was wondering is, if she was already charged with 80 charges, and then do these 10 really make a difference, or, you know, in terms of sentencing or time?
They do and they don't. They don't because, at least what I'm aware of, is the prior charges that she's already facing appear to be more severe than these charges. Those charges allege sexual acts between her and these young boys. And so the nature of those charges are essentially pretty severe. These new allegations, they're based off of alleged photos and things of that they may have recovered in her phone, her being in possession of this sexually explicit content, which is not as severe as actually having a sexual relationship with a minor, but it still matters. And so again, the prosecutor uses these things as leverage a lot of times to either force a plea, or once the trial commences, and what they can do is add these charges. So add them to the original indictment or go and file a superseding indictment against her, so that these additional charges will be brought in against her if it makes it to trial as well.
I want to thank Odoo for sponsoring this news package. Odoo is an incredible all-in-one business management software that provides you with a range of one business solution, and see how it can. Odoo.com/LE for Miss Sellers that she's facing multiple counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor.
What that means is that she was in possession of content that she knew depicted a sexual photograph or something of that nature of a minor, that she knew that she had that material. She knew that material was indecent, contained visual graphic body parts, and the allegations here are that she was in possession of photos that showed an erect penis or penis of young boys, and that she had that material in her possession. So that is what that means with regard to that specific charge. Also, to the point, the fact that, age, maybe there could have been an argument that she didn't know the age of the individuals in the photos. Unfortunately for her, the lack of knowledge of age is not an excuse.
In this,
I do not believe that whatsoever. That's a bunch of bullshit as far as I'm concerned, and it's one more dumb excuse trying to get out of what you did, period.
case, how significant is the digital evidence against Sarah Jean Sellers, and what legal challenges could arise in using it?
The digital evidence here is pretty significant. And I think we've spoken about this topic before, where, however these charges ultimately came about, the likelihood is that there was probably a text relationship or communication between the defendant here and these young boys, which is ultimately how some of the allegations came about. Not only that, but I expect that the prosecution, and in fact they did, seize the phone that she possessed and ultimately found further evidence of a crime, specifically these new additional crimes that allude to her possessing these photos. So digital evidence is going to be key here. It's going to corroborate some of the testimony that we expect to come in from these young boys. Not only that, but there's nothing better than video evidence or photo evidence. The prosecution just has to ensure that, it is her phone. They'll have to establish that. Some of the legal challenges that can be made will likely be made is that her defense attorneys are going to argue against whatever search warrant was used to obtain this information. One of the things that often happens is there's a search warrant that is drafted and ultimately done so that they can go into the phone and do what we call a dump of the phone. And as a result of that dump, these items ultimately were discovered.
How does North Carolina law differentiate between first degree, second degree, and third degree sexual exploitation of a minor? Can you explain that for those that don't know?
Yeah, so the third degree exploitation of a minor is essentially having photos that show a minor in some sort of sexually explicit depiction. With regard to second degree, that has to do with the actual distribution of these items. So if you're selling them or if you're soliciting these photos, things of that nature. First degree, which is the most significant charge under the statute, deals with the actual production of this type of content. So having an actual child or a minor in your presence, video recording them, transporting that minor to engage in this sort of activity. So first degree is much more severe, much more expansive under the statute as opposed to third degree. I think that there is an argument to be made here that the factual allegations as they become uncovered, this could actually go under the second degree exploitation of a minor, considering that it appears that she received these photos, or at least that's what we think at the moment. So that distribution factor or that receiving factor certainly would fit under that statute as well. So we'll see what the prosecution does with that.
What happens if a defendant's defense is that they were unaware of the victim's age at the time of the offense? Because I know that we hear that a lot of times in a lot of these cases. They say, oh, we didn't know, or oh, they appeared to be older, but that doesn't matter, right?
No, there's something in the law, and anybody who's taking criminal law 101 will know, ignorance of the law is no excuse. In this particular case, the ignorance or lack of knowledge with respect to the age of these young boys is not an excuse. It is not a defense under these statutes. So that argument cannot be made on her behalf.
And just hypothetically, not saying that this is the situation for this case specifically, but if there was ever a time when, you know, an alleged victim did, you know, withhold the truth about their age, would that count if they told someone, oh, I'm actually 18, oh, I'm actually 19, and they weren't? Would that work, or still it wouldn't matter?
Unfortunately for Ms. Sellers, that would not work. Again, with respect to these charges, the lack of knowledge of the individual's age, even under, you know, misrepresentation from that young person, does not absolve her from the liability. This appears to be some sort, and I don't want to say strict liability, but again, with respect to the age, all that matters is that that person was a minor and Ms. Sellers was not. And ultimately she, you know, was arrested for the charges, and likelihood is she'll face some sort of conviction.
Is it common for a case to be dismissed in the early stages if the victim's identity remains anonymous, or if the victim decides not to testify?
In the criminal world, not that often. So with respect to the criminal world, and I know there's a difference between that and civil, and, you know, we hear a lot about this in the Diddy cases, for example, but with victims, particularly youth, their name will be as protected as possible during the litigation process and at any point during the proceedings with this criminal action. The likelihood is that there will be orders of protection, if they have not already, being issued on behalf to protect these young people. They're allegations, of course, but she knows who these young people are, more likely than not. And so, you know, there's going to be the orders of protection there. We're not really going to see the charges get dismissed unless there's another factual issue or legal issue that would raise the question of whether or not the charges should be dismissed. It's not going to be with respect to the anonymity of the young person. Not only that, but these young people, the likelihood is they're not going to have to testify until they see a trial or grand jury proceedings. So there will be certain protections for these young people as this case commences and as it continues forward towards litigation.
How likely is it for Ms. Sellers to face significant jail time if convicted on these charges, considering her prior arrest for similar charges? I know she was just recharged with 10 additional, but before it was 80.
Yeah, Ms. Sellers is looking at significant jail time, and these additional charges are just going to add to that. Now, there will be a question if she pleads, what that plea offer will be, what the time guidelines of her sentence would be, if there can be an agreed upon decision between the district attorney's office and her counsel. So hypothetically, they could say a plea to one with 15 years in State Department of Corrections. Once that happens, we'll dismiss the remaining charges. There will be orders of protections for all of the victims. She will be a sex offender, X, Y, and Z. So that certainly could happen. If this case goes to trial and she's convicted on either all of the charges or some of the charges, then she has the possibility of facing even more significant time. And at that point, and depending on what the statutory provisions read in North Carolina, there is the possibility that she could be sentenced to consecutive time as opposed to concurrent time. So if an individual, you know, say they take a plea or a plea to a number of charges or are found guilty on a number of charges, the judge can run that time concurrent, means the time runs together on both charges. Otherwise, the time will run consecutive. So she's doing back-to-back time. So she could be doing 15 years plus 2 years plus another 2 years, et cetera, for each and every offense that she's been convicted of.
I realize every case is different, but when you see a case like this one, when someone is looking at potentially a lot of jail time and they're being charged, you know, with 90 different charges, does a plea deal make sense? Or if it's going to end up with the same outcome, a person usually takes it to trial and try to fight it?
So I'll answer that in two ways. With a case like this and the significant amount of time that she faces, you know, one of the things as the defense is going to probably say is, well, we don't really have anything to lose by going to trial. You know, if they want, or if they extend a sort of plea offer that includes you spending possibly the rest of your life in jail or a significant amount of time, 20, 25, 30 years, then what do we really have to lose by litigating this case in court? Because then we get to challenge the evidence step by step. Now, it does make sense for for there to be a plea agreement in this case, considering there are 90 charges. That's a lot of charges, a lot of allegations. Her exposure would be more significant if convicted on all of those charges. Not only that, but for the sake of judicial economy, I mean, a 90 count indictment, you're going to be on trial for probably a couple of months. Not only that, but we have these young children coming in to testify. It could possibly re-victimize the children. You know, they get scared as the time comes for them to have to testify in front of a bunch of strangers, including the person who is alleged to have committed certain acts against them. So in those types of cases, in order to not re-victimize the child, to just make this go away. A lot of times a plea offer is extended. And I think in this particular case, that would be something that would be suitable for all parties if they can come to that agreement.
We know one of the charges that Ms. Sellers was charged with was indecent liberties with a child. Can you explain what that entails legally and why is it a serious charge in this case?
Yeah, so indecent liberties essentially is indecent or immoral conduct or items that are in possession of the defendant, and they're used for the defendant's sexual desire. So that's the caveat here, is that it is immoral and ultimately used for the defendant's sexual desire. There's also an age requirement there where the defendant is at least 16 years of age or more, and 5 years or older than the child that would be the complaining witness. But that has to do with moral conduct and for the purpose of sexual gratification of the defendant.
In terms of sentencing, is Ms. Sellers looking at decades potentially?
Absolutely. With the initial charges that she's been facing, she's already looking at decades in prison. Specifically, again, and I think we initially had an 80-count indictment. Now we've got 90 or 10 additional charges that are added. With some of the new charges that she's facing, she's looking at 36 months in prison, for each count that she's facing. We know that there are at least 10 here. So that's quite a significant amount of time. That's not inclusive of the time that she's already facing with the initial charges under the 80-count indictment. She's looking at a very long time in prison at this point.
Lastly, we know that you mentioned earlier that there's the potential of victims kind of getting re-victimized during this process if they do take the stand. How are the victims in these cases supported during the legal process, especially in terms of privacy and mental health?
Yeah, so a couple of things. When this case is litigated, and we have a First Amendment right to be privy to the proceedings, freedom of press, so courtrooms are open to the public. One of the things that the judges will do is when they are announcing cases or matters with respect to these charges in an open courtroom with many people, they'll use the initials of the child. They won't use the child's full name. There will also be times where the judge can exercise certain judgments and exclude the cameras or media from the courtroom when that young person is testifying. So there are means of doing it in those ways. Not only that, but most district attorneys' offices, they have what we call victim advocates. And those victim advocates are in place to guide the victim, to make the victim feel safe, to really do a lot of hand-holding with the victim to ensure that just mentally they're okay, physically they're okay, that they have everything they need as they prepare to testify at trial. And a lot of times they're just very involved with the family and ensuring that that child feels as safe and as comfortable as possible through this process.
Great. Well, this is a case that we will definitely be following. Thank you so much, Safa, for coming on today.
Thanks, Kennedy.
The new charges will add $20,000 and $50,000 to Sellers' $2 million bond. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Kennedy Walker.
Not enough as far as I'm concerned. That's just insane. Stop doing these things. Another teacher. There's so many of these cases out here. It's insane, you guys. So many of them. There was that other one. We talked about it a while from down in Florida. A 23-year-old woman that posed as a schoolgirl that was dating teen boys. Like, what is going on in these people's minds, you guys? What is going on? It is crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. All right. Moving on. Hang on here. I agree. 100%, Stormy. Agreed. Agreed. All right, next up, let's see. Change the channel here a little bit. Hold on. Dig out the right thing here. All right, hold on. Okay, so somebody sent me this over because I had what's happening, Willie Will. Good to see you, bro. You probably ain't gonna be interested in nothing I'm talking about now. This afternoon show you will be, but not right now, probably. I've been told you guys I was gonna be adding some wild, crazy, weird stuff to the new segments and stuff. Somebody sent this over for me, so let's check it out for all you UFO people. See what you think of these. This is from this year, I understand. Good to see you, brother. Always good to have Willard in the house. See what you believe, folks, or don't believe. I love having you here, bro. Always, always. My door's always open to you. You know that.
Of unexplained aerial phenomena. On February 11th, 2025, a strange UFO sighting was captured just outside South Downs National Park, a vast area stretching through Hampshire, West Sussex, and East Sussex in southern England. The footage, recorded in 4K with both a Nikon P1000 and an iPhone, shows a silver orb seemingly motionless in the sky for over a minute. The person behind the footage had been actively searching for an opportunity to film a UFO in high quality. In late January, he connected with an individual who claimed to be able to summon such objects. After coordinating a time and place, they met at the agreed location to attempt the experiment.
Absolutely, bro.
Weather conditions were optimal with clear skies and a 10-mile-per-hour wind. And sure enough, moments later after arriving, a metallic orb suddenly appeared. Estimated to be around 400 meters away, it remained visible for roughly 20 minutes, during which it appeared to stay in place despite the wind. The witness noted in his report that if it were merely debris caught in an updraft, it should have drifted over 2 miles in just 13 minutes. Yet it remained at the same distance for the entire encounter instead. The object made subtle vertical and lateral movements before eventually ascending and disappearing in less than 20 seconds. One strange aspect of the footage is a persistent blur field around the object. While zooming in, the witness noted difficulty in keeping the image sharp, as the camera would briefly focus before a hazy ring would appear around it. This effect had only been seen before when photographing light sources in dark settings through a telescope, making it an unusual occurrence in this scenario. Beyond video evidence, around 90 high-resolution photos were taken, capturing the orb at different angles. However, none of those were published. Despite the clarity of the footage, no definitive explanation has been provided for what was recorded. Adding another layer to the mystery, questions remain about the person who allegedly summoned the object. Who were they, and how were they able to predict this sighting? Despite the video gaining significant online attention, no follow-ups have been provided by the original poster, leaving both the identity of the summoner and the nature of the object unknown. On the night of January 24th, 2025, Oklahoma educator and licensed drone pilot Chris Frederick stepped outside with his wife when he spotted something unusual hovering in the night sky.
Sorry, guys, I messed that up. By the way, there's 9 or 10 new documents in Idaho that we're going to be reviewing and discussing coming up here. So that'll be this afternoon here shortly thereafter this, just so you guys know. For those of you that are interested, make sure you come back.
The object, which he described as looking like a jelly bean with plasma moving around it, quickly drew attention. Within minutes, 15 to 20 neighbors had gathered, capturing videos and photos of the strange sight. As an experienced drone operator, Frederick attempted to launch his drone for a closer look, but encountered unexpected interference. Despite recalibrating 3 times, he kept receiving an error stating that takeoff was impossible due to electromagnetic interference. When he finally managed a brief flight, an unexplained battery drain forced him to land. The unidentified object remained visible for nearly 4 hours before vanishing without a trace. Notably, it displayed no aviation lights or transponder signals. Less than 24 hours later, another strange event unfolded over Oklahoma City's Plaza District, a busy nightlife area. Around 10:30 p.m., a drone flying at 1,000 feet captured footage of an object resembling a parachute or balloon-like structure with red smoke trailing beneath it. However, upon closer inspection, there appeared to be an unidentified object attached below the parachute. The person analyzing the footage, who was not present at the time, speculated it could be a flare or a balloon, but found the red smoke trails puzzling. They also pointed out that no scheduled events in the Plaza District explained its presence. Given the crowded urban setting, the possibility of a military or private contractor launch seemed unlikely. Adding to the mystery, a witness who saw the object at 10:30 p.m. stepped outside again at 1:30 a.m., and it was still there. If it were a flare, balloon, or drone, it should have either descended or drifted away. The footage was later reviewed by CUPOJOE Channel 5, the University of Oklahoma's Science Department, and the Oklahoma Science Museum. Despite thorough analysis, none of them could definitively identify the object, leaving these two consecutive sightings as one of Oklahoma's most intriguing aerial mysteries. On the weekend of February 8, 2025, the remote city of Ushuaia, Tierra del Fuego, became the setting for yet another UFO sighting. This time, a group of foreign tourists on a catamaran excursion through the Beagle Channel unintentionally captured what appears to be a mysterious aerial object. At first, no one noticed anything unusual. The tourists were focused on the region's stunning landscapes, en route to a penguin colony. It wasn't until they later reviewed their photos that one traveler spotted something strange, a round metallic object hovering above the water. The way it reflected sunlight ruled out a simple camera glitch or lens flare. The object appeared in multiple positions across the images, sometimes horizontal, other times slightly tilted. Its bronze color and bell-like shape fueled speculation. However, with no clear reference points, its exact size remains uncertain. The sighting left the tourists in shock and quickly became a hot topic online. Tierra del Fuego has a long history of unexplained aerial phenomena. Over the years, the region has drawn significant attention from UFO enthusiasts, with hundreds of eyewitness accounts. Many claim to have seen unusual craft moving through the sky, reinforcing Ushuaia's reputation as a hotspot for sightings. The latest incident has once again sparked debate. Some believe the object could be an unknown aircraft or advanced technology, while others suggest drones or natural explanations. Yet without further evidence, the true nature of the object remains unknown, leaving the mystery unsolved. On February 4th, 2025, at around 8 p.m., a mysterious bright yellow orb was captured in the skies above Saigon, Vietnam. In the 1-minute video, the orb moves to the right before briefly flashing. It then remains motionless for a few seconds before glowing brightly again and vanishing behind the trees. The witness reported that the object appeared suddenly and moved at an incredible speed before they started filming. It was extremely bright while in motion, but dimmed significantly when stationary. The witness also noted that no known aircraft moves that fast, and that the object seemed to be at a great distance, resembling a star. After being posted online in early February, the footage quickly gained traction, sparking debates among UFO enthusiasts and skeptics. While most agreed it wasn't a plane, satellite, helicopter, or balloon, some speculated it could have been a drone. Others, however, stood their ground, suggesting it might have been a craft from space instead. However, with no further reports, the true nature of the bright object remains uncertain. At around 1 a.m. on January 15th, 2025, a red orb was spotted flying erratically over the Caribbean Sea. The sighting occurred during a family cruise, where a longtime UFO enthusiast was finally able to share an unexplained experience with his skeptical mother, who had never believed in such phenomena until that night. While standing on the deck, the witness's mother was the first to notice the strange object darting across the sky. Initially, she assumed it was a drone, but given the speed of its movements and the fact that drones were not permitted on board, doubt quickly set in. Other passengers also witnessed the event, with some recording footage of the anomaly. The orb, originally glowing red, changed to white as filming began. It would briefly disappear before reappearing, covering what seemed like hundreds of feet in an instant. A nearby passenger suggested it was a bird, but its glowing appearance and rapid, unpredictable movements made this explanation unlikely. The family discussed the sighting for hours, and even weeks later, the event remained a major topic of conversation. The once skeptical mother, who had dismissed UFOs for years, was now convinced she had seen something extraordinary. She even contacted the ship's crew to ask if any drones had been deployed, only to find no such activity had been recorded. The sighting lasted for a few minutes before the orb finally vanished without a trace. Despite multiple witnesses capturing footage and discussing the event, no definitive explanation has surfaced. The object was never seen again, and the mystery of the glowing orb remains unsolved.
Do you believe or do you not believe? It's wild stuff, folks. Wild stuff. I guess there's rumors. I don't know that I believe this. There's been rumors that the cartel drones have been fighting with UFOs in the skies over in those regions. And I'm just like, okay, if you say so, so be it. So be it. So be it. So be it. We Laban Stormy. Where are you off to, Miss Stormy? I didn't see her say anything. Did I miss it? Oh, it must have been way up here then. Oh, okay. Well, good luck with the doctor, Stormy. Good luck. All right, let me see here. Like I said, I've been trying to add some different segments throughout this for you guys to have a little, to see some different things, and it's not all bad and horrible news all the time. You know what I mean? So, where is that next thing I was looking at here? Give me a second. Ah, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so like I said, different segments for the things for. All right, Willie, thank you, brother. No problem, Mama Bear. Easter's coming up, spring is coming up, so I figured why not show you guys some DIY crafting things that you can do for the spring, for Easter, for whatever, just to give you a little difference in the show today. We do that over the holidays a lot of times. We did it over Christmas and Halloween, stuff like that. So here you go. Let me know how it sounds, if there's any issue.
Next time you're at the Dollar Tree, head over to the Peel and Stick wallpaper, pick out a few of your favorite patterns, and I'm going to show you how you can use them in your DIYs. I like to use stacked books in my decorating. So from the Dollar Tree, I grabbed 2 hardcover books. One was slightly larger than the other one, and I also grabbed 2 different patterns of the Peel and Stick wallpaper. These books were small enough that I was able to just use one piece for each book. And you can see here, I laid my book down first and I folded the piece over to make sure that it would fit the whole way over the book and it would have enough room to spare on each of the edges. Now, to make this a little bit easier to cover, I only peeled back half of the backing to start, and then I laid my book down and I made sure that I had a border going the whole way around the book on the free edges. Then once I had all of that laid down in place and it was nice and secure, I folded it over, I peeled off the rest of the backing, and then I just smoothed it over the front of the book. There is a little bit of a crease on the edge of the book where the binding is, and I just made sure that I pushed down with my finger so that it would show off that crease as well. I opened up the book and you can see the creases in the paper where the binding of the book is. I wanted to free those out because that piece is going to get folded separate from the 2 covers. So you can see here, I just created a little flap with my scissors, and I did that on both sides. I also cut an angle towards the tab, and this will just make it easier when I'm folding everything down. It takes some of the bulk out. I also needed to remove some of the excess paper in each of the 4 corners, so I just took my scissors and cut an angle going through the corner. Also keep in mind, as you're cutting through the corner of the book cover, just make sure you keep your scissors about 1/8 of an inch away from the corner, and this will just help make sure that once you fold everything down, that the corner gets covered completely by the paper and you won't see any of the actual book sticking through. After all my corners were mitered, I could start folding in my little flaps. So I started with the top and bottom of the book, and I just folded those 2 flaps down. I'm using a bone folder here to make sure that that wallpaper really sticks to the inside cover of my book. And then when I got to the long side of my book, I just made sure that the corners were nice and smooth. And as I folded the flap down, I pressed everything into place. And then, like I said, I used my bone folder here just to make sure that everything was nice and adhered. Now, if you don't have a bone folder, just use any kind of object in your craft room. You could use a ruler, or if you have a vinyl cutting machine, you probably have a Cricut scraper or something like that. You could use that too. You don't have to have a bone folder for this part. And then I just repeated that.
Yeah, it came through, Willie. Once we get through this, I'll pull it up real quick. Sounds good, brother. Thank you.
On the other cover as well. You have a couple different options when it comes to that little flap at the binding. I chose to cut most of the paper off, and then I just folded it over and tucked it in so that it covered up that little part of the book cover that was still.
This is actually a pretty good idea. If you guys have, because I'm a book collector, I have a lot of them. Yeah. No, we're back and forth, Willie. It's no big deal, bub. If you have a bind, like old books who the bindings are going bad on, this is actually a really good idea, in my opinion. I kind of like this.
Still sticking out, but if you didn't feel like messing with that, you could just cut the flap off completely and you wouldn't even notice. I covered my second book in a different pattern of the peel and stick wallpaper, but you could use 2 of the same pattern if you'd like. You can keep this book stack just how it is, but I wanted to decorate mine up. So I took a piece of burlap ribbon. I didn't bother tying it into a bow. I just wrapped it around the 2 books and tied it into a knot, and then I dovetailed the ends. I also grabbed a couple pieces of greenery from my stash. I bundled them together, wrapped the stems with some jute cord, and then tucked it under the ribbon.
Pretty wild. Good decorative thing.
You've probably seen these small wooden crates at the Dollar Tree, and
I have no problem. As soon as we get through this, I'll pull up that video and we'll check that out too. We can go back and forth, guys. It's no big deal.
show you 2 different ways you can make gifts and put them in one of these crates. For the first set of gifts, I'm using 1 sheet of the peel and stick wallpaper. I also picked up a small notepad from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using a few clothespins as well as a few magnets. My notepad measures 4 inches across, so I'm going to start by cutting a piece of the wallpaper down to 4 inches. This wallpaper is basically a big piece of sticky paper, so it was really easy to trim with my paper trimmer. I also trimmed the length down to 9 inches, but make sure you take your own measurements for your notepad because they do vary slightly and you might use a different notepad. So just take your own measurements and cut the piece down to the size you need. Then I peeled off part of the backing from the wallpaper. I lined the top edge off with the banding strip at the top of my notepad and I smoothed that into place.
Hello, Mama Bear.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great and welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Everything go okay?
Yeah.
Good. Very good. On we go.
Again, I'm using a bone folder here because I think it really just helps burnish it down. Then I opened up the notepad and I started to fold the excess paper in towards the center and burnish it into place. You could decorate the front of the notepad however you like. I took some alphabet stickers that I had on hand and I spelled out the word hello. Anytime I'm placing small stickers like this as a word, I always like to line them up on my ruler first. I think it just makes it easier to transfer them onto whatever I'm working on. I also had some of these flat back pearls, so I added a few of those onto the front of my notebook as an extra embellishment. For my clothespin magnets, I'm going to create a set of 4. So I cut a piece of the scrap from the wallpaper and I'm cutting it down to 3 inches by 3/8 of an inch. Also keep in mind, depending on what pattern you're using of wallpaper, you may want to adjust where you're cutting on it so that you can get a bit of pattern on each of these pieces. Since they are so tiny, there's a good chance that if you just cut straight across, you're going to end up with kind of a blank piece of paper. So just watch to see where the pattern is falling and make sure that you have a little bit of pattern on each of the strips. After my strips were cut, I just peeled off the backer and I laid it across the front of my clothespin. If there was a little excess paper on one of the edges, I just trimmed it off with my scissors. And then to coordinate my magnets with my notepad that I created, I added 3 of those flat back pearls to the front of each of the clothespins. I happen to have some adhesive magnet sheets in my stash, so I was able to use those for on the back of my clothespins. I just cut them down into strips, peeled off the back.
Basically, this segment is this lady got some wallpaper samples, I guess, and just is decorating her house, a bunch of different things and different things that match up with this. I guess it's good for new, people spring cleaning to change things up in their houses. I guess it's a good idea for new decoration ideas for your home. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. My wife loves this stuff too. So
and stuck it on the back of my clothespin. Now, if you don't have something like this, check your refrigerator, because I know a lot of businesses like to hand out magnets. And if you have a couple extra of those on hand that you're not using, you could cut those into strips and they would probably fit on the back of your clothespins as well. But if you don't have something like that, you can always buy small disc magnets too. I also wanted to share with you a fun way to package these clothespins up before putting them in the crate. I cut a piece of cardstock down to 4 inches by 2 inches, and then I clipped each of the clothespins onto this cardstock. Now, you could leave it like this and just place it in the crate with a notepad, but I thought I would take it one step farther. I happen to have a set of clear bags on hand that measure 4 5/16 of an inch by 7.5 inches. I slid my clothespins into the clear bag, and then I did have another scrap piece of that wallpaper. So once I had my bag sealed up, I just folded the wallpaper over the top of the bag to look like a topper. And then because I've been using those flat back pearls, I added a few of those just to help coordinate everything together. And since I still had scrap pieces from this one sheet of wallpaper, I thought I would decorate the crate
I
too.
get it, Willie. I
cut
get
2
it too.
strips
It's in my
down
head
that
too.
measured 5.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch. This is what fit on my crate, but make sure you take your own measurements. And I just added the decorative strip to the center part of the front and the back side of my crate. As a final touch, I took those same flat back pearls and I put one on each end of the crate to look like rivets holding everything in place. I added some paper shred to the bottom of my crate. I tucked in my notebook and my magnet clothespin.
My wife has
and then
made
I also
these.
found a fancy pen at the Dollar Tree and added that to complete this gift. The second gift idea I had was to make a set of coasters and a set of napkin rings. I'm using some of these wood squares that I already had on hand, a few pieces of felt. I'm going to be using the same pattern of wallpaper so that it matches the crate that I created. And from the kitchen section of the Dollar Tree, I grabbed a pack of these flexible cutting mats. You get 2 in a pack, and these come in handy in the craft room as well as the kitchen. If you don't have wood squares in your craft room, go to the crafter square section of the Dollar Tree and look for these 2 packs of ceramic tiles. They come in squares and circles. My wood squares are pretty thin, so I wanted to double mine up to make them thicker. I'm just using some hot glue and I'm sandwiching 2 of them together. My wood squares measure 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. So I'm cutting my wallpaper down to 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, and this will allow for a small border around the outside. I noticed that the corners of my wood squares were rounded, so I wanted to round the corners of my wallpaper as well. I have a corner rounder by We Are Memory Keepers. It's double-sided. One side does a 1/4 inch corner round and one side does a 1/2 inch corner round. I'll make sure I have that linked in the description box below. Then all I needed to do was peel the backer off of my wallpaper and center it within my wood square tile. After I had all of my wallpaper stuck down to my wood squares, I moved on to my felt pieces and I cut 4 pieces down to 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Then I used some hot glue and I just hot glued a piece of felt to the backside of each of my coasters. I wanted to make sure that that wallpaper wouldn't peel up or lift off of my coasters, so I placed a small amount of gloss finish Mod Podge on each of my coasters, and I did give each of them 2 coats. Moving on to my napkin rings, I'm cutting that flexible cutting mat down into strips. I'm using a paper trimmer here. If you didn't have a paper trimmer, just use a Sharpie to mark out the strips that you'll need. I'm cutting mine down to 5.5 inches by 1 inch. Next, I started cutting my wallpaper down to rectangles that measured 2.5 inches by 7 inches. It might seem kind of funny that I used 2 different paper trimmers, one for the cutting mat and one for the wallpaper, but with this style of paper trimmer, I don't like to cut any kind of thick material because it wears out the blade too fast. Then I got to work covering those pieces of cutting mat, so I just peeled the backer off and I laid the strip of cutting mat down in the center of it. I folded all the edges over. I did the long edges first to make sure that they wrapped the whole way around that strip. Then the excess that was on each end of that strip of cutting mat, I just cut off with scissors. Now, because this cutting mat is thicker, I wouldn't recommend using hot glue to attach your 2 ends together to form a ring. So what I did is I folded it into a ring, and then I used my tiny attacher, which is just a mini stapler, and I added about 5 staples going across the surface to make sure that everything would be held together. If you don't have the tiny attacher, just use a regular stapler, but I don't think any kind of glue would be strong enough to help keep that ring shape. Of course, I don't want those staples snagging on the napkins, and I don't want them to show. So I took some coordinating ribbon that I already had. I added a bit of hot glue to the inside of the napkin ring, laid the ribbon into it, and then wrapped it around the outside, added more hot glue to the inside of the ring, and stuck the other end of the ribbon in place. Now be careful with what
Make sure you come back this afternoon, Brian. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.
kind of ribbon you're using here. This one's pretty thick, so I probably could have added some hot glue on the outside, but I never like to take that chance that you'll be able to see the bumps from the hot glue through ribbon, so I always try to make sure that I'm hot gluing where you won't be able to see it. And just like with the last gift, I tucked some paper shred into the bottom of that wooden crate. I added my coasters and my napkin rings, and my gift is complete.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a poll today too, you guys. I need help sometimes. Not yet, SRB. I'm about to. I will do it soon. Let's see what Willie sent me over here and check this out, you guys. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here it is. This is wild. I've not seen this one yet. So maybe like a football-sized object right underneath our wing. That seen outside of a plane. That's pretty wild. Yeah, Mama Bear's here, I think.
Hi, Aurora.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Truly, truly wild. Let me see if I can make it any bigger. There you go. It looks like a damn pill or a capsule or something. It doesn't it like a Tic Tac. What do you think?
I don't know. That's weird.
I mean, can you imagine being in the plane and looking out your window and seeing a Tic Tac flying next to you? Football
No.
size. It's football, like football size. So it's probably about that big flying underneath their wing.
Hmm.
That's, I don't know, that's wild as hell, dude.
Buenos dias, Amy.
And they said you could go up and up, down, around, fat. Yeah, like it just moves. Like, right, exactly. That's crazy. That is not a drone. I don't think so either. I don't think so at all. Thank you, Aurora, for the super sticker. God bless. Appreciate that so very much. You guys are awesome. Very much appreciated. And again, that goes back to anybody that chooses to donate to our channel, whether it be super chats or super stickers, via PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, guys. We don't ever expect that from you guys, but it is so very much appreciated. It does help us to keep things going on a day-to-day basis. Keeps the bills paid. So thank you and God bless to everybody that does that. You guys are amazing. It looks like a UFO Roomba. Maybe it's cleaning the underneath. I don't know. And we appreciate that of you too. Very much so. Yes, thank you so much. That's wild, dude. That is just wild. I can't imagine seeing. I'd probably flip out as a pilot. I'd probably land the plane, and I don't know that I'd be comfortable being. I mean, I've seen videos I've showed where they've showed pilots taking videos of things coming head on at them. You know, the one video I saw, it wasn't too long ago. I did it on one of our paranormal nights. There was a pilot that they did a reenactment. Of course, they didn't have video of it, but he explained it, so they reenacted it, and then he went through some storm clouds and came out. When he got inside the storm cloud, just as he came out, he ran almost face first into some kind of a UFO type thing. See, that kind of stuff, as a pilot, I'd be flipped out, truly. Seen them all, and our government literally told us, yep. Yeah, it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I do be agreeing. Now I can't get out of this. Hold on. All right. Thank you, Willie. All right, guys. Time for this poll. Let me see here. Be honest. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings either on this one. Just a yes and no. Do you like the crafting and the DIY segments, so on and so forth, that I'm adding into these things and chaining things up? I'm probably going to do a couple of these polls. So answer honestly. Like I said, it's a morning show, so I'm trying to take sitting here and looking at nothing but horrible things with kids and murder and this and that. I mean, we do that on a regular basis anyway. So for the morning show, I'm trying to add some different things in here to make it a little bit less. Okay. So just saying. So answer that if you don't mind the poll, be honest. I'm going to ask another one here in a minute too. So it's all good. It's all good. Listen, dude. Over the holidays, I was watching, we covered some of this holiday crafting stuff, and I was kind of interested in it, believe it or not, guy or not. I was like, that's kind of cool. Of course, I showed it to my wife because I don't do it, but you know, probably 80% of who we have in here, Willie, are women that are into the crafting and stuff like that. So they do. I do crafting, not this kind of stuff, but well, it's not really considered crafting. I build like dioramas and stuff for toy photography and things like that, but that's really all. I guess it's considered crafting to an extent, but it's not just crafting. There's the crafting stuff. There's home deco stuff there. Sometimes I'll run like the sales that are going on around holidays through Amazon and stuff like that to show everybody where you can get different deals and stuff. It's a different thing to kind of break the monotony from all the hard stuff we look at all the time, and to make the show a little bit more have a little bit more variety. Yeah, the cooking things, I like to add the cooking segments in. Yeah, it won't be in like full hour-long segments or anything like that. It's just going to be little things. But I want to continue to do that sometimes with the recipes, the cheap recipe things and stuff like that, and throw it in the mix. Especially when it gets closer to the holidays. You know, Easter dinner is coming up, and we had Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving and all them fun things. Grilling ideas. That's another one I'm about to throw in too. I have another one of those. 81%. Damn. We're almost there. Spring is in the air. Yay, yay. Oh, speaking of which, hold on a minute. I was trying to do something else and I completely lost my train of thought. 1 minute. There it is. What time is it? 1:02. Are you still here, Bear?
Yep.
So what's on your agenda for today? Besides this, of course, and what you already did.
Nothing. Probably gonna do some dishes and stuff later. Just normal stuff.
What's everything like now after last night's storms?
It's quiet for one.
Okay.
Because I swear the sirens wouldn't stop. I goes around the neighborhood and like there's pear trees down all over the place. Feel sorry for those people.
Oh yeah. Nothing got damaged real bad in your neighborhood though?
Mm-mm.
That's good.
No, but the warehouses and stuff they hit is less than 2 miles from my house.
Jeez. And
So
you
it's
said
probably-
last night you told me one touchdown right up like a mile or so away, right?
Yeah, it was there at the warehouses.
How bad was it?
Bad. The one warehouse, the wall or something collapsed and they had people.
Oh geez. I think I
trapped
showed
in
that
there.
this morning. Okay, I didn't know that was you. Gotcha.
Probably.
That's crazy.
There were semis flipped over on their sides that were, parked at the warehouses. I'm not sure. I haven't gone driving around, so.
Wow, that is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, school. I think Arkansas. Brady came in here and said that Arkansas is under a state of emergency right now.
Oh, wow.
They got hit pretty bad too.
Yeah, me too, Alicia. They did find the one lady. There was one lady they couldn't find when I went to bed, and they did end up finding her, and she was fine.
That is good. And up where Alicia's at in Michigan, they got ice storms. I couldn't believe that. Like it looked like a crystal.
Crazy.
Trees and stuff. It's nuts.
Huh.
Absolutely nuts.
Hello, Summer.
All right. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to do two things at once. Just give me a minute here. Okay. Let me see here.
Oh, wow. That would suck to not have power for almost a week.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what. Remember the hurricane stuff?
Yeah.
That's how that went down. Some places had it for like months without power. That to me is just insane.
No, don't you dare leave, because it's got to come by me first before it gets to SRB. I don't want any of that crap.
Okay, SRB, it's set up for 3:45 this afternoon. All right, let me check this poll real quick. See what the answer is. 76% said yes and 23 said no. Well, that's good. Cool. Good stuff. All right, guys, onward we go. Let's see.
Oh, wow. That's crazy, Aurora. I would have got a Jenny afterwards, too.
Good Lord. Where are we at here? Okay, 1 second on there, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they've got us under a flood warning because it's supposed to rain like it's supposed to rain tonight. Maybe a break tomorrow and then like the next 2 or 3 days or something. I bet it was awful. Yeah, I've never had to go without power for that long. Knock on wood. That was me, Ghost. Guess I shouldn't have knocked. It was me. It's okay. It was me. It's okay. There's nobody here. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, it's okay. Lay down. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, I bet.
Okay, Mrs. Dago says hello to everyone.
Hello.
Sorry, everybody. So let me see what else we got here for you guys. Oh, wait. What is this?
I don't know.
Hold on. Have you followed anything, Mama Bear, with Gypsy Rose? Gypshit Rose?
No.
You didn't see that? Okay, so there's a new thing out. It says Gypsy Rose exposes a child predator. These receipts are sending her to prison. Anybody seen any of that?
Not me. I think the last thing I saw, and I didn't even watch it, I just kind of scrolled past it, was her going at Casey Anthony or something. And I was like, oh, Lord. Scroll.
She's got a lot of room to go at anybody.
All right. That's why I was like, scroll.
This is crazy. Hold on here. Let me see. I don't think I'm going to play this whole thing, but I'm curious myself. I haven't looked at her in a while. I can't stand her. Everybody knows that, but I can't believe she's carrying a baby around with her now, that she's a mother to a child. Anyway, hold on.
Thank you so much.
Gypsy Rose cut her hair today, and I believe the reason why she did it is because it came out that she is a child predator.
Okay, so I'm at the salon right now, and I am actually some new dresses to go with my hair. So I think I want to go shorter.
I didn't understand a word that nasal unbelievable thing just said. I can't with her, you guys.
And I believe the reason why she did it is because it came out that she is a child predator.
Okay, so I'm at the salon right now, and I am actually some new dresses to go with my hair. So I think I want to go shorter.
And did she ever? This is Gypsy's new haircut. She chopped it into a really short bob, and I absolutely think it looks fantastic on her.
I'm just like you are, you're just like me. There's somewhere else we'd rather be. Somewhere that's ours, somewhere the dreams come true. Yes, I am a girl like you. You never think that it was so, but now I've met you and I know it's plain as day, sure as the sky is blue, that I am a girl like you.
Ryan Anderson went live tonight, and he still claims that Gypsy Rose's family is keeping her from him. He also said that Gypsy was pushed and dragged out of their marriage.
These people are absolutely positively insane, you guys. All of them. Now she's trying to be Casey Anthony. Of course she would. Why are you so quiet? Dude, you're in a good boat. You don't want to be with her anyway. She's nuts.
Is it me, or is this just getting old at this point?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's story just took another hit, this time from someone who actually served time alongside her. Nadatha Walker, a former inmate at the same facility, isn't just calling Gypsy out. She's putting her on blast for what she claims are outright lies. And she didn't stop at words. She went straight to the source, dialing up Chillicothe Correctional Center to fact-check Gypsy's claims on record. So what did she find? Let's just say Gypsy's version of events isn't holding up. It all started when Gypsy claimed she was denied mental health support in prison, a claim that didn't sit right with Nadatha. Instead of letting it slide, she took matters into her own hands, picking up the phone and going straight to the facility's mental health department. When she pressed for a direct answer, do inmates have access to therapy and mental health services? The reply came without hesitation. Absolutely. No restrictions, no exceptions. The kind of definitive statement that leaves no room for doubt, but also raises eyebrows. After all, in a system often criticized for its gaps and shortcomings, such a sweeping assurance feels almost too good to be true. Could this be a turning point, or just another polished soundbite in a long history of promises? One thing's for sure, it's a claim that demands a closer look. Absolutely no restrictions on therapy for inmates. Sounds like they've got more access to self-care than I do after a week of binge-watching true crime documentaries. But here's the real tea. Stick around until the very end of this video because we've got some jaw-dropping details you won't want to miss. And while you're here, do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Trust me, you'll want to be the first to know when we drop the next bombshell.
So stop feeling sorry for somebody who went to DOC and refused to do therapy. You can't reform services that you don't even know anything about it. I mean, you made up a scale from 1 to 5. Is 5 just your MO? Like, that's just where you go? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was on the phone for 5 hours with Ken, so I know he wasn't, the scale was from 1 to 5. What's up with you in 5s? Just a good number to use in your lives, I guess. If you don't know the specifics about what we're trying to change in the system, and you're just out here pretending and making things up, you're actually setting us back, because we could have somebody that's in your spot right now talking about the things that are actually going on and in depth and in detail, and being more specific and being put in the right rooms with the right people to actually make a change and make a difference. And you're actually harming the cause, not helping the cause. So either educate yourself, start getting plugged in with advocacy groups, know what you're talking about, or kindly sit down and shut up and stop lying. But like I said, I'm not done.
Nadatha wasn't just looking for a simple yes or no answer. She wanted details. She specifically asked whether mental health services were only for those with severe conditions, or if they were available to anyone who felt they needed them. The answer couldn't have been clearer. Every inmate, no matter their mental health classification or score, had the right to request therapy directly through the health services office. This policy, while seemingly straightforward, opens up a deeper conversation about accessibility,
That I don't know,
mental
Phil.
health support, and the realities of life behind bars. But the question remains, how effective is this system in practice, and what challenges do inmates face when seeking the help they need? Nadatha wasn't about to let the conversation end there. With the tenacity of a journalist who knows there's more to uncover, she pushed harder, asking the burning question, have inmates ever been turned away or denied access?
My biggest issue with her, always has been, always will be, is that she became a celebrity basically for killing her mother. That's a problem for me. And she shouldn't be glorified or glamorized for that, in my opinion. That's why I've always kind of never had an issue for saying anything negative about her. I just put that up there. Did they ever find out if her child was born with floppy ears and a tail? Unnatural obsession with peanut butter. Yeah, very true. Very true. Very true.
To therapy? The response was immediate and unequivocal. Absolutely not. But was that the whole story or just the tip of the iceberg? Stay tuned because this revelation is about to take a dramatic turn.
Mental health?
Hi, yes, I had some questions for you if you don't mind.
Okay.
How does the system work there? I have just some questions about it. Now anyone can attend mental health services, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so there's nothing that, like, how do I say this? What about trauma? If they have trauma, all they have to do is drop a HSR to mental health, and everybody qualifies and can get a one-on-one counselor or therapist.
Yeah, as long as you drop, if you're not an MH3, you have to drop an HSR each time you want to see a counselor.
I guess this whole thing, she came out and did when she got out, when she first got out, and said that she couldn't get any kind of mental health help while she was in prison, that they would not give her any help with anything. She had to do all this stuff on her own by reading books and stuff, and she couldn't get any mental health services whatsoever while she was in prison. They proved it wrong. So just another lie. She said, I was curious because they said that they're calling her, exposing her as a child predator. That was what I was curious about, because I haven't heard anything new about that.
Okay, but nobody's denied, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that's just my question. I've been there
You just
before,
proved
actually,
it,
and I know
Kathy,
this to
that
be
you
true.
can.
1 minute,
Lied about
Gypsy
that,
Rose
too.
Blanchard was telling the world she didn't need therapy in prison. Now she claims she was denied access to mental health care altogether. So, which is it? Because according to official records, therapy was available to any inmate who requested it. Other prisoners confirmed they had no issues accessing these resources, and Gypsy herself never complained about being denied therapy, until now. This sudden shift in her story raises serious questions about whether she's rewriting her past for sympathy, credibility, or just another PR move. This isn't the first time Gypsy's narrative has conveniently evolved to fit the moment. Let's not forget, this is the same woman who had the world convinced she was gravely ill, only for the truth to unravel in one of the most shocking cases of deception ever. Now, as she steps into the advocacy world, people are starting to notice a pattern. Gypsy picks and chooses which parts of her story to highlight, depending on what benefits her at the time. Behind bars, she boldly declared therapy wasn't on her agenda.
That's
Her
what I'm
sights were
waiting
set
to
on
hear
earning her
about, Aurora.
GED, and that was that. But fast forward to today, and her tune has shifted dramatically. Now, she's pointing fingers at the system, claiming it failed her by denying access to crucial mental health resources.
When you do come in and you do your original your intake, basically you're receiving a diagnostic, they do all these exams, medical exams. Are you a 1 to 3 like level?
The whole situation is just a really bad situation, Denise. I can agree with that. And from the start, but she had a choice. In my opinion, I should say, to try to take a different route with things. And I don't know. There's things about her I just don't trust.
Level of severity. All right. So if you are not like schizophrenic or like you can't take care of yourself, basically, dang near, then you're not a level 3. Level 3 is for people that are kind of a little bit incompetent, or they hear voices. They need a higher level of care. Nick would actually probably be a level 3 mental health. It just means they want to see you right away, okay, and to know to keep a better eye on you. But nobody is turned away from having a therapist, one-on-one therapy, mental health services, trauma counseling. It's available to all, and it does not go based on your mental health score.
So, what's behind this stark change of heart? Was it a moment of clarity, a deeper understanding of her struggles, or something else entirely? One thing's for sure, this twist has everyone talking, and the details are juicier than you might expect. Let's break it down. Even her former prison best friend Rachel is starting to see through the cracks. Rachel, who once stood by Gypsy's side both inside and outside of prison, has recently spoken out with some eye-opening insights. She and Gypsy met in 2016 while incarcerated and remained close even after Rachel was released. She was one of Gypsy's biggest supporters, helping build advocacy platforms in her name while Gypsy was still serving time. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Rachel were once inseparable, their bond so tight that Gypsy even took on the role of godmother to Rachel's children. But fast forward to today, and Rachel's tune has changed dramatically. In a shocking twist, she's now casting doubt on Gypsy's carefully crafted prison narrative, suggesting there's more to the story than meets the eye. Could the internet's most talked about redemption arc be built on shaky ground? Rachel's revelations are about to turn everything we thought we knew upside down. So, what's really going on here? Is Gypsy genuinely passionate about prison reform, or is this just another convenient way to keep the spotlight on herself? As more people start questioning her motives, one thing is clear: Gypsy knows how to tell a compelling story. The real question is, how much of it is actually true?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's ex-best friend and prison mate, Rachel Garlick, is spilling more tea. Now, if you don't know who Rachel is, I will tag her down below. Shortly after Gypsy's release, Rachel started speaking out after Gypsy basically used her and then tossed her to the side after she got out. Rachel just posted a new video about how Gypsy lied to Kim Kardashian when she met up with her. Let's watch.
Somebody sent me a clip of Gypsy talking to Kim Kardashian, and this is for you, Kim. Gypsy lied straight to your face. Straight to your face. Because all you got to do is you can go to mental health. I did it, and just for being afraid of mustard. He told me she did not need help, that she's fine. That's not true at all. You can get help in prison, and especially the prison that we went to, because I'm doing good. I took prison for what it was, and I did good. It teaches you stability. She even got in trouble for tricking men while she was there.
Rachel, who had spent years fiercely defending Gypsy, suddenly found herself cut off. No explanation, no warning, just discarded like she never mattered. At first, Rachel chose silence. She had been one of Gypsy's biggest supporters, working behind the scenes to help clean up her public image. But then, she saw something that changed everything. Gypsy, sitting across from Kim Kardashian, pushing a false narrative about prison reform, claiming she was a victim of a broken system. That was the final straw. Rachel knew firsthand that mental health services were readily available in prison. She had used them herself. In fact, therapy was so accessible that she even got counseling for something as trivial as a fear of mustard. If something as seemingly small as that could be resolved so easily, it begs the question, why didn't Gypsy, who has openly shared stories of enduring unimaginable trauma, seek out the same resources? Was it a matter of access, awareness, or something else entirely? Or perhaps, did she simply make the choice not to? The answer might not be as straightforward as it seems, and that's where the real intrigue begins.
So Rachel is on TikTok. I will tag her. But she and Gypsy met when Rachel was incarcerated with her. This was in 2016. They became really good friends. When Rachel got out, Gypsy asked her to make a TikTok account so that Gypsy could communicate with her supporters. So Rachel would do like Q&As with Gypsy, where supporters would ask questions. She would send the questions to Gypsy, and then Gypsy would respond, and Rachel would post those in videos. She also shared some pictures back when Gypsy and Ryan were first in their relationship. When Rachel was out on parole, she tried to go visit Gypsy, but her request to see her got denied. So instead, Rachel allowed her husband and children to go visit Gypsy while she was still incarcerated so that she still felt support. And Rachel's children were actually Gypsy's godchildren. Rachel stopped posting because Gypsy asked her to. Gypsy allegedly said followers and supporters don't really matter because when she gets out of prison, it's going to be all about making money. Now, allegedly, these supporters were also writing to the parole board in support of Gypsy getting parole. And Gypsy was also getting donations from supporters for Rachel, right? Rachel,
Okay, so I can't hear anything, and they're not saying anything about what I thought this was about, so I'm done with that. Anyway, moving on. Let's see, what else did I have thrown at me? Oh, let's see here. We got just a little bit of time left. One moment, guys. Let me see. Gotta pull up which one I want to show you. Let's see. Oh, okay. That's it then. All right, give me 1 second. Guess we're at the end of the show then. Let's see if we can leave here with a little bit of a smile. And move on to the next show, 3:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today we'll be back reviewing the new documents dropped in Idaho, discussing as always. Okay, let's see here. All right, let me load this in and we're on our way. If it'll load, good Lord. Where's it at? Come on, load up. Hold on. Okay, it loaded. Sorry about that, you guys. It was going really slow, so we'll start with this one.
Cow Patty Bingo. Boom goes the dynamite. All of this and more. But first,
Frank Sinkowitz, the 1942 Heisman Trophy winner from Georgia, died early today at his Athens home. He was 70 degrees.
That's our report for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll all be
Did he say degrees?
black next. We'll all be back next week, and I'll be black. We'll all be back, though. It's not my night.
And a correction, Frank Sinkowitz, who died early today at his home in Athens, was 70 degrees. Jim?
The teacher's first job will not be in the classroom. It'll be in the police station.
for Ann Dwyer and her team, it's been a morning of fluctuating fortunes.
Some changes in store for the Devil Rays and for Tropicana Field. The team announces it is reducing prices on more than 9,000 seats, and that lowers the average price of tickets by 7 cents. 7 cents to $17.79. The Rays will also close off the upper deck seating area, except when the lower deck sells out. And the team will also move the cheaper Southwest Airlines Freedom Fanfare section to the area now known as the beach. If you would like the facts and the figures, head to the Rays website at devilrays.com. Did I read that right? I'm sorry.
Lower the price 7 cents, huh? Oh, now I can finally afford to go. Is that what you said? Okay.
The average price of the tickets are lowered by 7 cents.
She made it through that read, and I am tears rolling down my face over here, and you read that without cracking up, and you did a good job.
Yes, you get a star.
7 cents.
I don't get it.
All right, we're out to save money. That's what we're all about.
Well, if that's the woman, you tell her to shut up.
We'd like to close.
We don't have the clothes yet. I haven't written the clothes yet, mothers.
Let's now take a look at that satellite tape taken from earlier today. We can take a look at the cloud cover.
Did he say mothers?
Uh-huh.
Ain't never seen a side of him like that before. Good Lord.
Across much of the nation.
This art is also unusual in that people can't seem to resist touching it. It's cold and wet and surprisingly smooth.
Meanwhile, the problem.
I'm sorry, but she seemed to enjoy that just a bit too much.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Of exactly what to say has arrived sooner than reporter Gage Norm was ready for it.
For more team coverage on this snowstorm, we head out to Gage Norm in Kalamazoo. Gage.
Thanks, Melissa. Now, while many area businesses like the hotels and other places are staying busy, that's definitely the case here at...
This dude's face is frozen. You can tell by the way he's talking. He's got... This is hilarious.
Kalamazoo's Holiday Inn. Now, the Kalamazoo's Radisson joins the Holiday Inn in offering special rates for standard travelers. And those travelers can get special deals on rooms for a night or two. And they say that if they're joined in offering special deals, and also they're putting them over to stay a night or two, and then they go to the Holiday Inn and other places, and then they can go to reporting to different places. Now, store management also say that people started packing in last night at Myers, and definitely they're staying busy, and they didn't start slowing down till this afternoon at Meijer.
We don't want to get hungry. As you can tell, we like to eat, so we want to fill up a little bit in case it gets bad tomorrow.
Done history. Meijer management says it expects to have more business coming up, and they'll always stay open no matter how bad the snow gets. Now, VFI Waste Services of Western Michigan that we talked to earlier says that it's going to have to cancel, even delay some of its services to area customers, but just put out your trash on the curbside and they'll pick it up weather permitting. Reporting live in Kalamazoo, I'm Gage Norm with news from where you live. Romaine, back to you.
Good evening, I'm Ken Bastida. Dana is off tonight. He was murdered and then set on fire while celebrating his birthday.
What?
What the hell? Hold on.
Good evening, I'm Ken Bastida. Dana is off tonight. He was murdered and then set on fire while celebrating his birthday.
They tell me by showtime the temperature will be down to 95, and plus they've got the ice on the stage.
What the hell just happened? So did I miss that? Did I hear it wrong? And then now they're talking about a show here? What in the hell's going on here?
I don't know.
Oh.
No, Phil, I had an appointment with one of the kids this morning, so.
You guys can still go hit the like button and subscribe over there if you haven't, please. Like something over there.
Yeah, because I'm like, I think I need less than 20 subscribers to hit my 500.
Let's do it. Let's do it. 20 more. We can do that.
Yes,
Dana
I don't know.
Was burned and set on,
birthday.
murdered and set on fire at his birthday party. What? And then they go to a concert. I mean, okay. I'm confused.
And the fans behind them, so they're going to be blowing the symphony players and keeping them cool. Cheryl?
Yeah.
Glad my son dropped out of the orchestra.
Right. Uh-huh. Yep. See? Oh, excuse me. Wow.
Marilyn McCoo is the performer tonight, right? Yes, Marilyn McCoo. The crowd seems to be excited about her.
Comment you will not want to miss. Comet Haiku Take. Okay. But anyway, let's go to our perfect viewing. Comet Haiku Take. And where we have something special coming up, a Comet Haiku Take is out.
I could play that sometime.
This woman sounds like she's stroking out every time she tries to say that.
MYUCH.
Now that I'm not out of breath, I can actually.
Back at Boston, it's Hanukkah.
Tonight begins the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, the festival of lights. And standing by at his home live with Instant Eye is Rabbi Bradley Bliefeld of the Baltimore Hebrew congregation with his family. And now they will light the first light of Hanukkah.
Praised are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has kept us in life, sustained us, and permitted us to reach this joyous occasion. Amen.
Rabbi Bliefeld, this is Richard Scher, and we'd like you to explain the significance of Hanukkah, if you would.
This begins our 8-night festival of religious freedom. We commemorate the time over 2,000 years ago when a small group of Jews fought for their religious freedom against the Assyrians, and indeed has a special meaning this year because we of the Jewish community share in the concern for the hostages being held in Iran, for they too are suffering under a contemporary form of religious tyranny.
So that kid got beat after this filming. I can promise you. I mean, it's just nonstop.
Let's here wish you and all of your family a very happy holiday, Rabbi.
Thank you, and to all in the community.
Okay, thank you very much.
Exactly. Dying laughing. That was funny. Yeah, that kid got cussed out. I promise you that. We're right. Exactly, Sassy. Exactly. This dude's dying over here. Jesus. I can just hear it. He's probably one of them hyper.
Who's out here to do a story? Do a story about what? As you can see, there's construction underway here. They've dug out a little bit. There's water has accumulated. Traffic's backed up. In a city the size of Houston, there's always traffic. So what's the big deal? What the are we doing out here? I asked you. What in the are we doing here? Hell, I don't know.
Frank Ferboni, tell Paul Winston-Salem.
Is it okay? See that this is what heat does to people. Pete, this is in Texas, the bowels of hell, and he's done. He was over it. It's hot. It's flooded. The traffic is bad. It's always bad. So why are we here? Sweating my brains out. 100%. He's still it. Agreed, Sassy. Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
What was that noise?
No, it sounded like a foghorn.
Well, they did come to life. He said it, and they did it.
Did they make those kind of noises back then, you suppose? Those dinosaurs make
well,
those?
You would know better than I don't know. I come nowhere close to being around it. You know,
I'm not that old.
Okay, nope, not prehistoric. All right. Well, anyway, it's that time again.
That time, right?
That time.
Okay. Cosmetics manufacturers won't be greatly affected, but the Maraschino Cherry Association said today that this action will ruin the $100 million a year maraschino cherry industry. David? If there is ice on Mars, it seems reasonable to conclude there is water. The scientists involved with the Viking project have so concluded. They have new pictures from Mars, and Roy Neal tells us how they look.
Outside in Big Spring Park, Jamie Tucker has a surprise waiting for him.
Who else is going? Who is walking there? But who else?
I don't know how bad they are. Why don't they just walk the gutters? It ain't a far walk. It's just 38 miles. Why don't you walk? Why don't you walk the gutters?
Can you walk the gutters before?
I'll walk. Yeah, I can walk the gutters. Why don't you walk the gutters?
I don't need to walk the gutters.
Well, no, you don't. You're going to put everybody else walking the gutters. Why don't you just walk the gutters?
All right, I'll walk the gutters.
All right, let's go.
All right, hang on. Let me do this one time.
Man, let's go walk. How about splitting that? You be so goddamn tired. The time you get to New Hope, you won't be strutting that ass. You'll be so goddamn tired by the time you get to New Hope that you won't be strutting that ass. You'll be.
Well, what's got you so mad today?
Me?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to run. Everybody wants to run. That's good. Run here, they're gonna fall. I'll walk. I'll be right behind them and see how far they can run. It's a chauvinistic pig attitude that you're gonna do something because you work at the Arsenal and you got a Mercedes-Benz and you ain't gotta walk every day, so you're gonna get out and strut that ass, strut that ass, strut that ass. When you start walking, my friend, and you get 10 and 15 miles on the highway, you won't be strutting that ass. You'll be half dead by the time you get there. So it's a chauvinistic pig attitude that Clinton's got. Strut that ass, strut that ass, strut that ass, strut that ass. And when you walk about 15 or 20 miles, you won't be strutting that ass. You'll be so tired, you won't hard to hold that up. You won't be strutting that ass, strutting that ass.
What really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death?
The is that? I'm dying in this country up town. Flying in my mouth. I can't see pollen. And let's get the out this country, mother. I can't even see me.
Okay. Finally, in sports tonight, Lee, Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds was talking about the Reds' young pitcher, Wayne Granger, and about the speed of his fastball. Said Rose, Wayne can throw a baseball through a car wash, and the ball never get wet. Lee, that's sports.
Well, there's one thing for sure, Dick. He's bound to have the cleanest balls in the majors. Thank you, Dick. State Agriculture Commissioner Jim Graham said today in Charlotte, the North Carolina...
I think he just figured out what he said right there.
Agriculture Department endorsed a small watershed.
Now here's Orion Samuelson. Now here's Orion Samuelson.
Wake up, bro.
Good morning, sunshine.
Now here's Orion Samuelson.
Oh my God. I take it you didn't sleep last night, sir. Yeah, it's that time.
Looks like my kids today.
Now here's Orion Samuelson.
With the absence of the regular sportscaster, all that's left now is a potentially defining moment for Brian Collins.
Hello, everyone. Well, the Ball State softball team continued to play this weekend, and they were hoping to continue off of their straight 3 out of 4 losses. And so we'll take a look and see how that happened. They started off good, but then eventually, the Ball State women's team shut down and ended up doing poorly. Oh no. And okay, we're going to continue on now. The Ladies Cardinals will play an Iowa tournament starting this Friday. Before the Ball State baseball team kicks off its conference season this weekend, the Cards will battle an in-state rival Indiana tomorrow. Tomorrow's game will be the meeting between the two, beating both first.
This guy sounds like he's in pain. What the heck?
Yeah.
Right. Is this your first day, bro, or what's happening here, bud? Does he need somebody to read the cards to him or what? Good Lord. I think that's what it was, is the teleprompter was moving too fast and he couldn't catch up with it. That makes sense.
Hoosiers are on the 4 on the year, and they have won 6 of its last 7 games. Tomorrow will be the game 3 at 3 p.m. Switching to Ball State men's tennis, it seems last week player on. It seems every week they have a player. Matt Lawrence is the latest Cardinals tennis player to win the award. Lamar won all the singles and doubles matches last week. So far, the Cardinals have had a player honored on the weekly awards. 7 out of the 9 weeks. The Cards will play at Boise State Invite this weekend. The Indiana Pacers are looking for a measure of revenge tonight against the New Jersey Nets and to strengthen their playoff hopes. The Nets won the last Sunday's matchup 94-85, which left the Pacers 1 game behind the Chicago in the 7th series spot. Let's check out the highlights.
Good job.
Steven Jackson's David.
Yeah.
Is out of Indiana.
Of course.
Reggie Miller's looking good. He shoots a 3, and it's good. Later, he gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the dynamite. The final scores ended up with the Pacers 63 to the Nets 61.
That must be like
Associated Press of the All-American first team in college baseball was announced today at Utah's 7-foot sophomore center Andrew Bogut was the leading vote receiving 61st place votes. Bogut, who is an Australian native, received very little attention in the preseason, but averaged 20 points and 12 rebounds a game for Utah. The 4 other players joining Bogut on the AP team are senior forward Wayne Summers and Kansas, and Hacken Warwick of Syracuse, junior guard J.J. Redick of Duke, and sophomore guard Chris Paul of Wake Forest rebounded out the list. Let's check out some of the scores tonight.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot for that look into sports, Brian.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we'll have one final look at weather. Stay tuned.
Daytona Beach, the Cape Canaveral area, Vero Beach will be getting in on the heavier rainfall, and eventually I should. I am so sorry, Bill. Oh my God!
Is it a mouse or a roach or
a
spider?
This is what just happened. That thing was crawling on my leg. Oh God! If that. Oh my God! Oh no! Right at the wall for me.
That thing is huge. Oh, is that roast?
Oh.
That's so dago.
Now we're checking our actual news calendar for this Thursday morning. Information on healthcare, education, and job training will be available during a community health fair in North Philadelphia. Doors open at 6 this evening at the Dick School at 25th and Diamond. Health check this morning. Doctors say there is now no doubt that if you live longer, you can cut your cholesterol level. A Scottish study shows using medication such as Zocor combined with diet and exercise can reduce the overall death rate. The medical community has long operated on that belief, even though there's been no proof, and that's all changed now because the evidence is in. Okay, now this is for David. Thousands of American men are continually searching for a solution to their baldness, and they often spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in that search. In this special report, Action News senior correspondent Mark Howard looks at some of the newer techniques available to the bald man.
Fortunately for everyone else, Valerie Williams is
having a good
happy
day.
to explain what the weather feels like. In this case, literally.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. As the temperature drops and the wind chill factor dips below zero, a major snowstorm has blanketed the Texas Panhandle. Many people there are saying it's the harshest winter in the last 5 years, dumping anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow in the area. Channel 8's Valerie Williams is braving the cold outside of Amarillo in a small town called Headley and joins us now live. Valerie, how bad is the weather right now?
Well, Chip, I was about to say that the winds had died down slightly since our live shot at 6 o'clock, but wouldn't you know, just before we went on the air, they picked up again. To give you an idea of how bad and biting the cold weather is, we try and stay in the satellite truck until 5 or 10 minutes before we're supposed to go on the air, and then we move outside. And during that short amount of time, it's not uncommon for both our feet and hands to go almost completely numb. Now, the reason the town of Headley is so important is that this is really the point of no return on the way to Amarillo. What happens is the conditions here, the weather conditions here are very bad, but once you get out of Headley and head on the way up to Amarillo, the conditions get even worse.
That guy earlier.
People in the Panhandle say they're feeling Mother Nature's wrath. They believe they're paying the price for several years of mild winters. We hear the trip is now taking 3 hours in the near blizzard conditions. Now, it doesn't look like the conditions are going to get much better tomorrow, which, by the way, happens to be the heaviest traffic day of the year because of the Thanksgiving holidays. Amarillo authorities would certainly be thankful if they could avoid what happened today. There was a 200-car pileup on Interstate 40. It was a chain reaction caused by the sleet, the slick conditions, and the high winds that went on for 1.5 miles. Most likely, I-40 will be closed again tomorrow for at least all or part of the day. Authorities ask that if you stay out of this area, please do so. It will make their jobs a lot easier, and it will certainly be safer for travelers. Reporting live, I'm Valerie Williams. Back to you, Chip and Tracy.
Better lips are probably sticking to her teeth, too.
Earlier tonight was 13 below. Sounds like you're having a hard time talking. It must be miserable out there.
All right, you're going to have to re-ask that question. The wind is blowing so hard I can hardly hear you.
Well, it looks like a bad spot to be in. We hope you'll get warm later on tonight, Valerie.
Oh, please, yes.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Well, the snow hasn't made it as...
Yes, her tongue is numb at this point, frozen, and that was so sad. Oh my God!
I bet her lips were sticking to her teeth.
It kind of looked like it the way her mouth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, there may be trouble in Alaska's Iditarod sled dog race. Searchers on snowmobiles are trying to find a dog team that a moose may have attacked. 2 bush pilots have reported seeing a moose stomping dogs along the race course. Attacks by hungry moose have plagued racers for the past several years. It's a big problem. The animals, which can weigh up to 1,800 pounds, have become aggressive because deep snow has made it hard to graze. I have to read this stuff. And here's another one. A New York man was charged with petty larceny yesterday, accused of stealing up to $200 worth of cow manure from his uncle. We go on to sports. Donald Magoon of Ellenburg, New York, was caught stealing a $10 load of manure from his uncle's farm. Glenn Magoon claimed his nephew stole 10 to 20 loads over time. Stop it, Bob. The elder Magoon says he can only guess what his nephew was using it for. We don't know either, and I wish we didn't have to read this stuff.
And finally this morning, a fundraiser that may have seemed like a good idea at the time. A cow patty bingo contest was held in Canada this week. Donors buy a
cow patty bingo.
It's Canada.
We can't find anything else to do but cow patty bingo. Oh my God.
Them Canadians. I'll have to ask that lady about that when she comes back.
I have to agree. I can't. I can't.
and hope a cow drops a patty on it. The only problem is the cow never went. Says that he's never seen that happen before. Money raised will go to a United Way brand in Canada.
Goodness gracious. Do you think that was a slow bingo game? Yes, he does. 7-day forecast for today. Mixed sun clouds as we head through time. Breezy as well, a high of 52. Overnight lows down near 30.
So nobody won because the cow never went to the bathroom. How often does that happen? You know, they do that here, but I haven't seen it in many years. I'm sorry, Phil.
45, mostly clear, less breezy. A sunny start for tomorrow before we increase the clouds, a high back into the mid-50s. Showers in the forecast for Monday into Tuesday, then turning cooler as we head toward Wednesday into Thursday. B12. That's all I got to say. No, I can't.
Cow Patty Bingo.
For Charles P. Allen High School, Cow Patty Bingo has suddenly gone from being the week's good news story to bad news in the cow department.
Well, we got just a hilarious, bizarre story for you. It's the story of beef gone bad, a cow on the lamb.
That's right. 10 RCMP officers, a pair of animal control officers, dozens of high school students, and assorted friends and neighbors have spent this Friday afternoon tracking a cow through residential neighborhoods in Bedford and Sackville. An ATV camera crew was with them all the way, and ATV's Jonathan Kay joins us now with an utterly ridiculous story. Jonathan.
It's the kind of thing that can only happen here on a Friday afternoon, Nancy. ATV News photographer Kevin McDonald and I were working on a completely different story when our assignment editor called us and told us we were getting calls here in the newsroom of a cow obstructing traffic in a residential neighborhood. Here's what happened.
Getting that here.
Okay, pop the thing.
I think they got the suspect on. They see the suspect now. So.
When the cow escaped, it was in the custody of this Bedford High School student. Okay.
I was holding on to the cow when it came out, and it got nervous. And when it got nervous, because all the people, it shook and its harness broke, and he took off towards the woods.
What are you looking for?
It's a big cow with horns.
Oh, yeah. He went that way.
Bedford, Indiana.
Yeah. I mean that's called a bull, there, buddy. A big cow with horns. That's a bull. Yeah. They're describing. They're giving a description. I wonder if they brought a sketch artist out for this one.
No.
I mean, there's a description being given of the suspect. So.
Hang on. See him there? Oh, there it is.
Oh, they're en route now.
You might wonder what high school students were doing with a cow on the school grounds in the first place. Well, they were getting ready.
Yeah, that's my first question. Now I just want to know why this has turned into, the Mod Squad chasing down a damn cow. Hey, James, good to see you.
For an annual event called Cow Patty Bingo. Squares are marked on the school field, and if the cow does his business on your square, you win.
He didn't want to play, damn it.
Things went wrong.
Yeah, I think on the side of the road there with the students there just to do a search party for that missing cow.
I'm sorry, T.
Okay, we just tranquilized the cow now.
Can I go? He's been tranquilized. He's just going to drop. He's just going to drop. The cow's own.
This is a reenactment, folks, based on real footage. I let everybody know. It's okay.
Yeah, I think they said 1993.
Yeah, 1993. So,
as my kids would say, the 1900s.
Right, the early 1900s. Couldn't poop, needed to get the bowels moving 100%. So here we go. A big cow wearing horns. That's the disguise it has on, Trish. Yes. Yep. I think we figured out who it is now.
Often misjudge just how big, powerful, and unpredictable the animals can be.
Never gonna pitch it. Yeah.
Let it rest, let it drop, and then we'll get it once it's down. There's no sense in chasing it the rest of the day.
That particular member of the RCMP hasn't received his wish yet, though, Nancy and Paul. Right now, that cow is still out here somewhere. Oh, no. We'll let you know how it turns out after he's captured.
All right.
Wow.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan. And good luck, everybody who's looking for him.
Yeah, hopefully we can bring you up to date on that one a little bit later.
Cranky cow.
Crazy stuff.
Joyce Evans for the Channel 6 10 o'clock news.
We getting out of this joint.
Okay.
I don't have any words. None. So that's it, folks. Thank you guys for joining us today for the morning show. Well, me and then the bear afterwards.
Yeah.
But she still showed up, so I'm grateful for that. I hope you guys got a little bit of a smile towards the end here. And I hope you guys have a great day. We'll be here at 3:45 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be reviewing the new, I think there's 9 or 10 new documents that dropped between the 31st and yesterday. And discussing those and then some. I think my tongue's frozen. Anyway. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. For those of you that I may not see, for those of you that I will, I'll see you here very shortly. Mama Bear, thank you for joining me. Everybody else in chat, thank you so much. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other. Blue Crew, you're amazing. That'll do it. We'll see you soon, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. I'll see you later.
Moo moo, buckaroo.
Life's a journey, let's make every moment a shine. Together we share our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. See you next time.